Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically go in and talk about all things going on in hot topics and celebrity news. So that's a show for you. Definitely tune in for that. And before we get started with today's show, if you could do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so yeah, before we get into excuse me, my nose is itching all of a sudden. Oh yeah, I did just blow my nose. So before we get started with today's show, I know y'all probably like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, I'm in dark mode because apparently I'm not at my place, my usual spot. I don't have my ring light with me, so the lighting is not lighting. So y'all just gonna have to see me looking a shade darker than usual, but we still gonna pull through with the show. Y'all be just listening to me run my mouth anyway. So yeah, we got a couple of topics that we need to get to, including we got some new Screen 7 casting news that came out a couple of hours ago of Jeremy Allen White's about to be a bisexual in a new TV show over on Netflix. We got to talk about Miss Jennifer Lopez and the Oscar buzz around Kiss of the Spider Woman. We got to talk about them numbers dipping over there after Carrie Underwears and Nelly's streaming numbers. You know, they kind of took a dip after they performed for you know who's out here just causing all kinds of damn chaos. We got some Snoop Dogg tea. He's actually breaking his silence about, you know, for performing for Donald Trump and standing 10 toes down on it and telling people that, you know, he's telling us live and let live. But that ain't what you said a couple of years ago, sir. But we're going to get into it. Plus, D.Woods did an interview and said she had troubling interactions with Diddy, and she's opening up about her time in Danity, Kane, and the interactions that she had with the diddler and things of that nature. Allison Holker is out here spilling TMIT about her and Twitch, revealing a little sexcapade that they ended up having where they was at. We got some Blake Lively news. Apparently, Justin Baldoni dropped them scandalous texts and trying to say that she was flirting back and forth with him. So we're going to break that down. Sam Asghari is spilling some tea about his marriage to Britney. Lady Gaga is saying we ain't going down without a fight. In a fiery interview after, you know, the Trump election, I saw Madonna had posted a couple of hours ago a thing about, you know, Donald Trump and his whole situation going on. So we're going to talk about that. And plus, we got to talk about this because I'm sure y'all saw the thumbnail. NLE Choppa is being accused of gay baiting again after his photo shoot in Playgirl. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Pee Wee Herman, you know, Paul Reubens came out as a homosexual. Speaking of documentaries and things that we were talking about earlier. So we got to break that down and talk about that he came out posthumously, how the hell you say that damn word? So yeah, I'm exhausted, but I was like, I got to do a show, and I got to make these coins. So that's why I'm on here. And I was like, oh, I need to take a break. Not on Beyonce internet. So if you guys have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm like, well, y'all can kind of still see me. I just wish it was like a whole brightation situation. But like I said, I didn't have my ring lights with me. I'm not at my spot. So this is what I'm gonna have to give y'all for the next couple of days until I get back home. Okay, so I did not. So what I'll probably do is I'm gonna try to see if I can watch it today. I think my issue was I was up till 3 a.m. I told her this is a full-time damn job. Like y'all thought I was lying when I told you I was a full-time job. When I'm done with the streaming, I'm literally going in. Well, first of all, I have to eat something. So I'm like, I have to cook me something to eat. Then it's like I'm watching, I've got the television on, I'm working on my show. I'm watching some stuff, catching up on things. And then I'm editing the show, like cutting it up, like the clips and the segments that I've done on, you know, throughout the day. Sometimes I'll go over, which I hate doing, and I'll miss doing the previous one. So I'm busy editing, taking the best ones out of that one, the best ones out of the new one. Then I'm uploading it to YouTube. That takes a while. Then I'm uploading it to TikTok. Then I'm uploading to Instagram, which automatically attaches to my Facebook. So I'm trying to add it to all these places so that way people, you know, get to see the clips and things. And so a lot of that takes a while. So literally, and then on top of that, I was doing like some topics of like stuff I may have missed later on in the day. And I wound up working on those articles. So I didn't go to bed until like 3 in the morning. And then I was up by like 7. And yeah, so that's why I am exhausted. It's like, it gets crazy. But yeah, I definitely want to check it out. I didn't know they were only releasing one. I guess I did know they were releasing one episode at a time. Because I'm like, didn't they do the other documentary? They did like 2 at once, and then the next week they did the other 2 with Nickelodeon. But I guess I'll just try to see if I can watch both back to back. You said there were a few people sharing stories that hadn't been talked about. Okay. Oh, okay. So it looks like that may be the interesting thing that I could possibly look at that one based off of what you're telling me, that I could watch this Diddy documentary and I'll probably get a little more of an insight versus the bunch of nothing I didn't get from the one with the one that came on Peacock. I was like, I ain't learned nothing from this. It felt like a rush job to me. So based off your recommendation, I'll check it. I'm gonna try to see if I can watch it tonight. Um, But yeah, I mean, especially with D.Woods, I know was spilling. Well, I don't know if she was in the episode, but I know, like, based on the thing I have with her, it's not the documentary. She did another interview where she started talking about. So I think she was on Good Morning America or something or another. So I'll check it out. But anyway, let's get right into the show. And let's talk about our first topic, which is Mark Consuelos. Yeah, Kelly Ripa's husband got a gig, and I guess he's done. I'm like, if he is, that's kind of quick that they were shooting. But yeah, he is officially joined. He has, so I should say, officially joined the cast of Scream 7. So yeah, he got a job. And first of all, I like Mark Consuelos. Like, at least the quiet as it's kept out of that whole couple, he the one that seemed to be getting gigs outside of doing the show. Whereas Kelly just stuck over there being miserable doing that damn talk show that she took over. But nevertheless, he's still doing his thing. I liked him when he was, well, first of all, I knew him when he was Mateo over there on All My Children. And then, he was in Riverdale and things of that nature. So I was living for when he was in that. But based off of Deadline's report, they basically said that the details regarding the film's plot and who Consuelos will play are under wraps. But what I'm hearing is that he may be playing a character by the name of Robbie Rivers, or Robbie. Yeah, Robbie Rivers, who is a rival reporter that is going to drive, basically be a thorn in Gail's ass. That's basically what he's going to be. And one of the things I've been trying to do as a voice spoilers, because I know, like, Critical Overlord, shout out to you. I like him and everything, but I just be feeling like you just be trying to fulfill the algorithm because you need something to talk about, and then he just be doing OD spoilers. So I try to avoid all the little minute details, but I did hear something or another that I guess he investigates something where there was like maybe they're doing like a hospital thing, and a mental patient escapes, and then I think either Gail hits the person because he goes to Sydney's house, or um, Sydney ends up hitting them. I don't know who's going to end up hitting them or whatever the case is. And then Robbie comes on the scene and he's kind of like being like the thorn in Gail's behind. And I think you do need kind of like that back and forth banter when you have Gail Weathers, Gail Weathers, who we're rooting for. And now you have this new character coming in who's very much how Gail was in the first couple of situations in the series, how she was in the first movie and the second movie. As the show progressed, as the franchise progressed, she did get relatively better in us really rooting for her, even though she did work some of our root canal nerves, but we was rooting for her because there was that part of she was a major bitch, but she was like a bitch with a heart of gold anyway. But like you could see like when that isothor around her heart a little bit. You see that side of her, that vulnerable side. It was like, okay, yeah, we see you, Gail. We know why you are the way you are, and we root for you. So that's why the gays live for her. So with that being said, it's like I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring in this. I do find it annoying that a lot of people are like, oh, every time there's a casting announcement, oh, they're the killer, oh, they're the killer, well, damn, it's like everybody. Hello, did y'all never see a Scream movie? According to Randy Meeks, he said everybody's a damn suspect. So then, when it's finally revealed who the killer is, I knew it was the killer. You damn! First of all, your ass done said everybody that was cast was a damn killer. Everybody except Sydney. So, I want to go in surprised. I don't want to know too much about it. Like I always say with these Scream films, I feel like it's gotten way more aggressive past Scream 6 where people just want to dissect every minute detail. So I try to avoid all the other stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Marcus Wells and seeing what part he has. I did see that he shared a story on um live with Kelly and Mark, where he was talking about how it snowed out in Georgia because it don't snow out there, but apparently it snowed. And he said they shut down production, and he was sitting there laughing, and it was like I can see why. Because first of all, Mark is a New Yorker. I don't know if he was born and raised here, but from what I know, like ever since he was on All My Children, he's just been a straight up New Yorker. And then he goes, depending on the gigs that he does, he goes for work. So he and Kelly have been pretty much they're New York staples. So they're kind of like Sarah Jessica Parker and her husband. So and some of the others. So we have our New York elites, and then there's other elites all over the other place where you have those celebrities that just live here. So and he's one of them, him and Kelly. And yeah, it was like that kind of snow I'm like, child, first of all, we see snow like that all the time. Like the shit don't stick. It's like literally an inch of snow, and it'll be going on like a day or two. And y'all sit there shut down production because y'all ain't never seen snow like that. Like when it be like if it's like 10 inches or higher, then it's like, okay, we considering the kids not going to school the next day. But like an inch, y'all shutting down production for that when you're on a sound stage, make it make sense. But I guess that's what they do down in Atlanta or Georgia, whatever part of Georgia they filming in. So yeah, so that's all I got on that. Um, as far as yeah, we don't really know what the plot is, and I'm kind of glad we don't. I've heard like speculations or whatever the case is that this is probably something that's transpiring because this is 2026. It'll be the 30th anniversary since the very first Scream, so it could be like the way that they're setting this up is like it all comes back full circle about a home type of situation. Maybe there hasn't been a Ghostface situation in a long time, and somebody kind of concoct something to ignite a Ghostface type of murder, and there's somebody that's within the circle that's involved. I haven't heard theories that they could probably be like Mark Consuelos, so legacy media is dying. So they're he cooked up some situation where he could, ignite a whole Ghostface thing just so that way he can have like that big major career. And I'm like, that's so damn predictable. I hope that's not where they go with that. But as I said, I'm really looking forward to the movie. I know a lot of people are irritated because of we're not getting Patrick Dempsey. I don't feel no ways tired about it. It's like I like Patrick Dempsey when he was in Scream 3, but like I said, he's not a legacy character. And for him to allegedly be asking for the amount of money, like a high payday or whatever the case is, which was the rumor, I just don't feel like he is at a place where he even has the nerve to be trying to ask for that kind of coin because you was only in one movie, whereas Sydney was in 5 films and about to be in her 6th Scream film, and Gail Weathers, aka Courtney Cox, has been in all 7. So when you've survived that many franchises, then you've put in enough work where you can ask for the raise that you was getting for. And I was also thinking, what's the actress name? Isabel May. I think it was Robert, friends of the show, sent me a picture. Was like, okay, now it makes sense because Isabel May kind of does look like Joel McHale. So I'm like, okay, we can see like family sibling resemblance or whatever the case was. It kind of works. So that's all they say. What do y'all think of this story in regards to the latest casting news regarding Scream 7? That Mark Consuelos has now joined the cast, and who do you think that he might be playing, and all that good stuff. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Ew. Hello, 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 hello. It seems like they're just trying to fill the gap. Jenna and Melissa left. Well, yeah, there's gonna be a gap with that. You said, I have a feeling they might put him with Gail. I'll send you a yeah, like I was saying, like they might make him like the next Gail, like how Gail Weathers was, in the earlier films. Whereas Gail's in a different place, and personality wise, he's kind of like that overly ambitious, hungry reporter who's looking for his big moment. Yeah, he was good on Riverdale. I'm trying to remember, didn't he play a killer? So I was like, that's too predictable. But then they said the same thing with Mikey Madison because Mikey Madison played a killer. She played a killer in Scream 5, and then she also played a killer in oh my god, what's the name of that? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt. So I mean, I think they might make them a couple. Oh, you know what? That could probably work. That maybe Marcus Willis is her love interest, but don't do him like they did the black guy that they had in the last movie. Y'all basically he had like literally a 6-second cameo before Ghostface came and sliced and diced his ass in the apartment. Well, the Ghostface turned out to be a girl, which I wasn't believing that big titty bitch was the one that was able to damn near take out Gail, let alone him. I was like, okay. Yeah, that would be interesting. I was like, yeah, because they're filming this movie for like what, 2-3 months. It will be funny. They're still casting people and pulling people in to do stuff. Excuse me, or maybe it is that they've already had the people cast. It's just now we're hearing little by little of who's being attached to it. Especially maybe they're the only reason why they're mentioning this, and maybe I'm reading a little too much in it, is because maybe they're doing this because they feel that anytime they make a casting mention, people are going to start with the trolling and, justice for Melissa Barrera and all that other stuff. But then again, it's like, regardless of whether you reveal it after the stuff was filmed or before, whatever the case is, people are going to react regardless. So it doesn't matter when you actually make the announcement. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I did see the new Sinners trailer because I remember you was telling me about it, Cleveland, yesterday, and they dropped it today. And yeah, it's official. It's a vampire movie, which we all kind of pretty much speculated. But I have to say, I like the trailer. It is like one of my top films that I cannot wait to see this year. I'm definitely going to the movies to see that. And like I told you before, I love Ryan. I don't say Brian. I love Ryan Coogler. Anything he puts out, it's pretty much, I think, good. Like I can't say I dislike any movie that Ryan Coogler has made. He and Bakari, yeah, because that's what the B stands for, Michael B. Jordan. He and Bakari, in my opinion, they make magic together. Like they're a match made in heaven. So I love whenever they collaborate. It's kind of like Scorsese whenever he collaborates with Leonardo DiCaprio, or whenever he brings in Robert De Niro or something. It's like there's that match made in heaven. They could just make movies together forever and I'd be happy. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. The only problem I have with the trailer, they was revealing too damn much. I'm like, why are you showing me the kills? Or we already speculated that his twin was going to become a vampire, which he does in the trailer. We see it. And then Haley Steinfeld. I'm like, damn, y'all just revealing all the things. I hate doing that. And I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine. We were saying the same thing. It's like, why do they be revealing stuff? And for what I've been hearing is that people apparently like spoilers in trailers. I'm like, well, I ain't people. I'm a person, but I ain't people. I don't like everything being revealed. Sometimes I want to go and see a movie and be surprised. And I was surprised when I saw stuff being real. It's kind of like when I said about Companion. Like I felt like the Companion trailer, even though I've been hearing good things about it, I see people been dropping like their reviews of it. That they've been doing secret screenings, and now people been revealing things about the film that they went to go see it. So they're not really spoiling a lot, but from what I'm hearing, it's a good movie. But when I saw the trailer, I was mad that they started revealing stuff in the film that I was upset about. So I was upset about that. They started revealing a little bit too much. Well, especially what she is, because she's not a person. But anyway, let's get into this story and let's talk about Jeremy Allen White was about to start a new series over on Netflix. And they said it's a limited series. So Jeremy Allen White, who, is from Shameless as well as The Bear, where he has won a multitude of awards for portraying Mr. Carmi. And I do love that show, by the way. He's about to play a bisexual, a new TV series over there on Netflix. So Jeremy Allen White is attached to star in an executive produce a Netflix limited series adaptation of Andre Ackerman's novel, Enigma Variations. Now, Variety has learned exclusively from sources. It says the project is currently in development at the streamer. Now, should it move forward, this would be the second on-screen adaptation of one of Ackerman's novels. Previously, his novel, Call Me By Your Name, was turned into a critically acclaimed film starring Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer, with James Ivory writing and Luca Guadagnino directing. The film received 4 Oscar nominations upon its release, with Ivory winning for Best Adapted Screenplay. Now, here's the thing. I had no idea that this was coming from the same world of Call Me By Your Name. So it seems like there's a lot of similarities, but you got the bisexual stuff, you got the homosexual stuff, and this might be interesting because I actually did like Call Me by Your Name. I thought it was a good movie, even though it seemed like y'all pretty much canceled Army Hammer to them allegations, but it seemed like slowly his career is making a little bit of a comeback. Now they said the project is currently in development at Netflix. Now, should it move forward, this would be the second on-screen. I was like, wait a minute, I just read that. So, I told you I was tired. Now, Amanda K. Shulman is attached to serve as writer, executive producer, and showrunner on Enigma Variations, with Oliver Hermanis set to direct and executive produce. Now, Ackerman will EP along with White, with Media Rest producing. So, reps for Netflix declined to comment about the situation. So, basically, for those of you who are not familiar, I was like, what's going on with the picture? Yeah, this is how we like to see Jeremy. I'm just playing. But not really. So it says that he will serve as the main character, Paul. And so for those who are not familiar, the description of the novel states the following. It says Enigma Variations charts the life of a man named Paul whose loves remain as consuming and as covetous throughout his adulthood as they were in his adolescence. Whether the setting is southern Italy, where as a boy he had a crush on his parents' cabinet maker, or a snowboard campus in New England, where his enduring passion for a girl he'll meet again and again over the years is punctuated by anonymous encounters with men, whether he's on a tennis court in Central Park or on a New York sidewalk in early spring. Paul's attachments are ungraspable, transient, and forever underwritten and by raw desire. Now, ahead of every step Paul takes, his hopes, denials, fears, and regrets are always ready to lay their traps. Yet the dream of love lingers. We may not always know what we want. We may remain enigmas to ourselves and to others, but sooner or later we discover that who we always known we were. So what I'm trying to say, what they're trying to say with that, because when you say, well, when we may remain enigmas to ourselves and to others, but sooner or later we discover who we always known we were. So I'm hoping what this is that, because a lot of people get irritated when you try to do the whole bi erasure type situation, and I do think that bisexuals exist. And I hope that they do them justice, because what we don't need right now is people coming out with their glittered pitchforks talking about that this is not an accurate portrayal of bisexuality. And you're pretty much trying to make it seem like that overall stereotype where they say that bisexuality is a gateway to being a homosexual. So you don't want it to get to that point where it's just like, okay, so I'm doing, I love women, I love men, and that sort of thing. And I'm not just being like, because a lot of people also think that when you do things with someone of the same of a woman and they find out that you're bi, that they think that you're automatically going to go and cheat on them with someone of the same sex while you're in a relationship. When I know people who are sexually fluid, who are, if they with a girl, they are committed to that girl until the relationship is done. And then if they just so happen to be single and due to the relationship or whatever dissipating, and they go and they meet someone of the same gender, then they get in a relationship with them. So there are people who are monogamous in that way, unless you've got an open situation, and that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But for the most part, I just hope that if you're going to do a series based on a bisexual character, that y'all really go there with the situation and really be in a point where you explore both sides of the situation and how even some women deal with it. I don't know how white women deal with bisexuality, but we know a lot of black women have a problem with it. There's very few, like a Doshi, who doesn't have a problem with, bisexuals and things of that nature. And I think it's because she's also fluid. So, that's what we have on this right now. Hopefully the show is going to be good. I already know it's going to be on Netflix. So if it being on Netflix, what that basically means is they're going to take the series and they're going to dump all the 8, because they usually just do 6 to 8 damn episodes with everything. So they'll just dump it up there and then we'll just stream it, binge it, and we'll see how far they go with it. Are y'all going to get like raunchy, like Shameless? Or is it going to just be like this demure and mindful rom-com type of situation? So I'm curious to see what it is. I like Jeremy Allen White. I've always liked him ever since he played Lip over on Shameless, speaking of which. And where he's done a lot of stuff. He's going to be in the Mandalorian Grogu. He's got the Bruce Springsteen biopic. Say that 10 times fast. That is a tongue twister. So he got the Bruce Springsteen biopic coming out. He was in Iron Claw. He's got The Bear, which I remember them hearing that they shot season 3 and 4 back to back. So, um, with his career on the rise and the Emmys he's collecting those, like RuPaul, like every year he seems to be winning these awards, and his career is actually doing really well. So he's at a point now that he could just put himself out there and create these situations, and his career is on top right now. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Jeremy Allen White starring in this new series for Netflix, where he's gonna be hunching women and men? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Robert is here. He says hello. Hello, hello, hello. What do you think about so many straight actors going gay for critical acclaim? Not to be messy, but that is a conversation being had. They'll point to Heath Ledger or Timothy as the ones who start. No, that's been going on for a long time. I mean, back in the day, they would used to say your careers were ruined, would be ruined if you went and did a gay project. Like Lisa Rinna husband, Harry Hamlin. There was about how his career was ruined for going gay on camera and things of that nature. Now we seem to be more open to it. I remember the Queer as Folk, there was like a big issue surrounding people wanting to play roles in that series. And I believe Noah's Ark had issues, but it seemed like we have come a long way. Now, to answer your question, I feel like if you want to play the character because there's something within that character is thoroughly entertaining and is deep, and you want to get into the nuance of the situation, I I have no problem with that. I just don't like how Hollywood deals with these things where they want to reward straight actors for those who are perceived or identify as, and they'll go on and say, well, you were so brave for playing that homosexual on camera. You were so brave for playing that gay man with AIDS and all that stuff. Let's give him an Oscar. You were so brave for playing that trans woman with AIDS. Let's give him an Oscar. Jared Leto. So, and then of course, what I mentioned before, that was Tom Hanks. So it's like, when it comes down to it, stop just trying to award people for being like, job well done. But then if it's a homosexual playing a homosexual, like if you were to see, what's his name, Billy Porter was to come out and play a character that was so beyond who he was. The only thing y'all know that is in common is that he's gay in real life. They probably will overlook him for the Oscars. Oh, he's not acting. But it's like, I don't smoke crack in real life. I don't be dealing drugs or, shooting up and doing all kinds of other stuff. This is not what I am. So just because the only thing I have in common with the character is that we like someone of the same gender, for you to just put us in that box is so annoying. It's kind of like this thing that I saw with Jesse Williams, where he was at Sundance, and I wanted to make this as part of a story today, but I was just like, it's just too much going on. But he was talking about performative diversity. So, why they out here talking about DEI and all those other mans when you got in Hollywood where it's like, yeah, we want to see diverse people on the screen. We want to see people who are, of the LGBTQIA plus spectrum. We want to see Black people. We want to see Latinos. We want to see, we want to see Blacks, Hispanics, Asians. But we want to see different demographics represented. We want to see indigenous people. So when someone was like, people talking about, there are people who genuinely are trying to promote more equity in their movies. And then he also said that he sees the trap of performative diversity, which is, we got to fill a quota, or we just hire that person so that way they can keep me in check in regards of if I'm going too far with my bigoted belief system or racism and all that stuff. Like recently, Mel Gibson out here saying some racist crap. And I'm like, Heifer, you just directed a movie that went #1 at the box office, and not by much because it ain't a lot going on in Hollywood. So it's a little dry wheat. So he got his little film with Mark Wahlberg, horrible acting ass, playing somebody with a wig cap on his head, like he got a receding hairline. So, but he said that he saw that the performativeness back when George Floyd was murdered, that he saw that how all of a sudden trying to, well, we got to, I mean, it's always about what's, the way I look at it with Hollywood, I just feel like they go by what's trendy at the moment, not realizing their racial blind spots in the midst of it all. It's like, oh yeah, we got to jump on it because this is a hot button topic. It's like, where's the empathy, child? So, I don't have a problem with straight actors going gay, but spread the love. As long as we, homosexuals get to go and audition for those straight roles, then I don't see a problem with straight people coming in for those gay roles. Well, I do believe that. There was a girl that was in that movie Trick that said we're all, to a certain degree, we're all bi. What was her name? Trudy, who always had her titties was always showing in the damn bed when she was with Christian Campbell, Nev Campbell brother. I forgot his damn name in that freaking movie. What was their names? Mark was the go-go boy. And Gabriel, that's what it was. Blow Gabriel Blow. And now I remember that because of, it's Coco Peru. That's how I remember his name. So Gabriel's roommate always had to have a broad over the hunch. And she said that, but she had that little voice. And let me tell you, I live for that movie because of Tori Spelling's performance in that. So, but so yeah, until some of us figure it out. Sometimes it takes longer than usual. Felix, I don't have bisexual tendencies. I never had any interest in being with a woman. In the words of how you doing? Star Jones X. He could never say woman. He would say woman. Like, where did you learn to say that, Chad? Mel's been showing his true colors. Hello. And then you get people that defend him and still give his ass work. Talking about that, Trump need to take off the belt and all that other crap. I said, Chad, can we deport his ass to Australia? Because you're not even American. So how you trying to comment on anything we doing over here and you're not even born, you wasn't even born here. Go back to Australia. Or is it that they don't want your ass there either? So, anyway, where we going? So now, since we were speaking about Sundance, let's move on to talk about Miss Hannaford, who is apparently getting Oscar buzz for her role in, what is all that noise? Oh, that's outside. But I was like, yeah, so anyway, so Miss Hannaford is getting Oscar buzz for her role in Kiss of the Spider Woman. Now, yeah, the movie's not out yet, but it was shown at the Sundance Film Festival in Colorado, and they said she got a standing ovation for her role in the film, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing. Because I remember Kiss of the Spider Woman. Well, first of all, I was way too young when it came out. So, but later on, I ended up seeing the film. But I'm looking forward to seeing this version because they got Bill Condon directed it. So now it says, despite already drawing praise for carrying out three distinct characters within the film, many social media users expressed confusion as to how she was already receiving Oscar buzz for the project, which does not have a distributor or release date. So now, when asked about the possibility of earning an Academy Award nomination for her role in the musical drama directed by Bill Condon, the singer admitted that she didn't even want to begin the conversation. She said, of course, I would love it to get the recognition that I believe it deserves. This is what she told Variety. Now, while speaking about reading the script for the first time, the mother of two recalls sitting in bed, reading it and saying the lines and laughing and crying. She continued, this is what I've been waiting for my entire life. Well, my whole life. This is all I've ever wanted to do. What, that role? Because funny enough, she said in the interview that she wasn't even familiar with Kiss of the Spider Woman. She had heard about it. She'd never seen the film, but her sister, I believe Linda, was a fan. And she was like, in so many words, bitch, you about to do this movie? She was like, yeah. So her sister is a huge fan of Kiss of the Spider Woman. And Sonia Braga actually played the role that Jennifer Lopez is playing in the film. I always wondered, is Sonia Braga related to Alicia Braga? From, she's been in a lot of things. Alicia was in Predator. She's been in a lot of movies. She was also in, she was the woman that actually encountered Will Smith in I Am Legend with the little kid. So I wonder if they're related. That might be her mother. It looked like she could be. But anyway, because I think they're both from Brazil, actually. But anyway, to get back to this. So it said on Sunday she received a standing ovation inside the Eccles Theater during the 2025 Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah. Oh, that's what it is. It's Utah, not Colorado. Now, although the nominations for the 2025 Oscars were announced just 4 days ago, it is not uncommon for actors and films to start to spark buzz early at festivals like Sundance. So what people don't realize is like nobody's saying that we're gonna talk about she gonna get a nomination for the 2025 Oscars. It's the 2026 Oscars. So with all this coming around, and I'm sure it's gonna pick up a distributor. I don't know which one is going to pick it up. We'll talk about it when that happens. But I do feel like it will find a distributor. The movie will get picked up. It'll end up somewhere in the theater. Who knows? Maybe Amazon will pick it up or something. I don't know. But it'll get picked up. People will, and we'll go see it when it comes out. I'm definitely curious to see when this film, gets made and things of that nature. Or gets released in the theater. Who knows? It'll probably be at the end. Like I would think, like maybe in the fall of this year. That'd be a good time to release it. Don't do it in the summer because you'll get swallowed. So one person said, finally, Hannaford is gonna beat the Can't Sing allegations and also win an Oscar for Kiss of the Spider Woman. This is what one person tweeted on Twitter. Another wrote a standing ovation at Sundance for Hannaford after Kiss of the Spider Woman. And let me just say this, started the 2026 Oscar campaign right now because she's undeniable. It's a larger than life role that she pulls off with such precision, it's impossible to escape her web. Another person said, it's January, guys. So others call this Lopez Renaissance era after the hate train TikTok era and her divorce from Ben Affleck. They said great reviews coming out of Sundance because of the Spider Woman. So excited for this movie. Oscar winner Hannaford, perhaps. God, one excited ex-user tweeted. So this sound in a way like this might be some plants, but I don't think that will be what they would do. That they were trying to plant some mess and be like, oh yeah, we just want to hype her up and all this other stuff. Because I have a feeling. Here's the thing: I know we make fun on this show, and I have no problem, and I have done it many a times. I've thrown a couple of daggers in Yennefer's direction, but you may not think that she is the most spectacular singer in the world, and I don't think that she is. But I will say this: from the time when she started coming out and singing during the On the Six era, she has improved with her vocals. So yeah, she is not the best singer in the world, but she has improved on what she has. And what I will say is, Yennefer is an infectious performer. The one thing is she is very mesmerizing on screen. She performs her ass off, so she definitely can give you a good performance. Sometimes I do feel like she phones it in, and there's been a couple of movies that attest to that. That it's like, okay, this is one of those for the check movies, like Atlas. That was a movie that I felt like you definitely did that shit for the check. And then that other movie, the some of them rom coms and stuff she was doing too, like the one that she did with Josh Duhamel that was over there on Amazon. What was it? Something when she went on a honeymoon and there was like a situation that was going on, like a little terrorism type situation. I forget what that movie was called, but that's neither here nor there. I just feel like, you know what, sometimes you got to find that one role that'll actually push you out there. And I know a lot of people, and I would say, I know Hannaford is being a little modest. And I feel like you have to be at this point because remember, y'all hyped her up not that long ago, once upon a time, not long ago, when y'all said she was going to win for playing a scripper in Hustlers. And she got snubbed. She was getting them all the awards other places, but she was snubbed at the Oscars, or she just didn't make the nominee situation. So maybe this time she'll actually get the opportunity to get a nomination. But now, as far as like saying if she'll win one, only time will tell. We'll just have to see based off of what she's going to be up against, what movie she's going to be up against in 2026. Because only, time we don't know until we get to that bridge, or we cross that bridge, I should say. So now, for those of you who are not familiar with what Kiss of the Spider Woman is about, the movie musical is about two Argentinian prisoners, played by Diego Luna, who is playing Valentin Arregui, and I don't know how you say this child name. Is it Tonataya? Tonacia as Luis Molina, forming a bond over the plot of a Hollywood musical starring a silver screen diva. So, Luis actually is in a prison with Valentin, and I think Valentin is a political prisoner. Luis is a homosexual prisoner, and basically their bond comes over him telling these stories about his favorite silver screen diva, who was played by Jennifer Lopez. So that's basically what the movie's about. So there's probably you're gonna be seeing a lot of these big numbers and things of that nature. I'm trying to remember, did Bill Connor direct Chicago? I don't remember if he actually did. So yeah, we got all of these up in here regarding one of the. I'll leave that photo up, and I want to see if what was the that Bill Connor directed. Well, y'all do know that he that Ben Affleck also executive produces this film, but they said he's one of the eight. So they there's a lot of people behind this production. So it's Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Diego Luna, and Miss Lopez. They all produced this. And the film was adapted from the stage musical, also titled Kiss of the Spider Woman, which itself is based on the 1976 novel, by Manuel Puig. So and from what I was hearing, they said that her acting was certainly put to the test as she took on the challenge of filming songs in one take. She confirmed to people that they shot her scenes like the old musicals authentically were done. And one of the things Jennifer Lopez has said is that she is a huge fan of like movie musicals, like Singing in the Rain and things of that nature. So I'm like, yeah, if they could bring that whole idea, it was like, you make sure you have all the cameras where they need to be, no cuts, literally just shoot it like how they used to do back in the day. I used to love watching the old musicals that used to do that. It's like, no, we need to do a one take situation. And being that, Lopez is a performer and does concerts and has done many a concert and a residency. She knows how to do, she is someone who is very familiar with doing stuff on one take, because when you live on stage at a concert, you only get to do one take when you're doing those type of performances. So that works perfectly. And at one point she even said in the interview that she did with Variety that she was her plan was to go on do Broadway, but her career ended up going in a different direction. And I know y'all about to come in the comments with the reads about how you talking about you want to do a damn concert with your or not concert. You were trying to do Broadway, but your behind can't sing. It's like, ma'am, look, sometimes you do what you got to get what you want. I mean, where you need to go. And she may not, like I said, she may not have the most spectacular voice in the world, but she can work with what she has. And look, y'all can say the same thing about Miss Erica Jane, who's currently on Broadway in Chicago doing the rest of those performances that she was able to do because of the pandemic. She's back on Broadway doing, I guess, fulfilling the rest of those dates that she wasn't able to do. So that's all we have on that right now. I know a lot of people, saying all this other stuff, but it's like it's not too early. Whenever it comes to these festival type situations, you always hear a little buzz around this time from people always saying like, "Oh, so and so, you know, Oscar buzz, Oscar buzz." I mean, it's all hype or whatever, but let's not get caught up in the situation and just wait until we start hearing more about the movie. It gets a distributor, and we can move on from there and then start talking about, you know, Oscars and things of that nature. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I mean, from what y'all been hearing about Kiss of the Spy Woman, is this a film that you're excited to check out? And do you think? I mean, I guess we don't know because we haven't seen any footage. So maybe this is not a good question to ask, but I'll ask it anyway. It's like, do you think that Jennifer Lopez has a chance of getting an Oscar for this part that she's playing in this film based off of all the hype that we've been hearing? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay. Meanwhile, I actually do have bi tendencies, but I don't act on it. I'll just stick with the homosexuals. And you said they probably trying to make up for not giving. Yeah, that's what was funny. I was thinking, greater minds, right? It's like, yeah, because they always tend to do that. Like I always use Whoopi Goldberg as an example. I'm like, damn well she should have got it for The Color Purple, but y'all fucked up. I get they'll be like, oh, because of the year and who else was nominated, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, whatever, Whoopi, whatever you need to be, whatever diplomatic answer you need to say, so you can still play within that wheelhouse with all the old guarded elites. But you should have won for The Color Purple, but they gave it to you for Ghost. So it is what it is. Speaking of Jennifer, the Lifetime's tour being dubbed as a greatest hits tour instead of 143 with back catalog has people excited. Yeah, that's what it was. It was that Katy Perry is smart. Because and when that's what I was alluding to yesterday. I didn't really go further into it, but she said that she connected, like how she connected with American fans. She connected with her overseas fans, and the fans want the hit. She said she'll throw in a couple of deep cuts, and I need to be an artist. About I was like, girl, you and art is two words that we ain't never gonna put together in a sentence. But you make pop hits, or you did. You make pop songs. You were a popular musician back in the day, and I know you need to promote some of those songs from the Lifetimes album. That'll be the time that I guess everybody will go on break. I'm really hoping they put me on this show so that way I could tell y'all all the nooks where when she came out before Women's World, how many people got up to go to the bathroom or get a refresher at the bar? Because you know there's gonna be a lot of kids there, but there's gonna be a lot of parents with their kids too. So but it was like, yeah, she's gonna go heavily on the hits, which is what Yennefer should have did. And then it's like, well, yeah, at the end of the day, I do need to sprinkle a couple of the songs of the new album in there, but it's not gonna be heavily the This Is Me Now record, which is what she should have did. Yeah, I was like, look, if she get a nomination, that would be good. But said to go in the Road Greatest Hits and with the launch of 143, didn't Vanessa Williams do it on Broadway? She probably did. Sounds like sounds familiar. I think Marry Me was one of those Czech movies, but she loves weddings. So it probably oh yeah, you mean when you had Maluma Harble acting behind him in that damn movie? Which was a cackle. This is me meow. Okay. No, it's not a Spider-Man spinoff. Kiss of the Spider-Woman is a Spider-Man spinoff. No, we don't need no more Spider-Man spinoffs after the mess that was Madam Web. We do not need any more Spider-Man spinoffs. And anything from that Spider-Man universe that doesn't have Spider-Man in it. All right, so let's talk about Miss Carrie Underwears because you know that the backlash, still hasn't let up, and it seems that Carrie Underwood and Nelly have seen a dip in their streaming numbers. So apparently Jesus ain't take the wheel for this because she's seeing a dip and Nelly's seeing a dip. And then also when we get to our next topic, which is about Snoop Dogg doubling down on why he performed for Trump, they say he lost a lot of followers. I think he lost I think they said 1.5 million, half a million, might be more than that. Like a lot of followers on Instagram. So people are canceling or just choosing not to follow. Um, People like them. Like if this is where y'all gonna go and this direction you're gonna take, shit, you can't be mad at the backlash. I keep telling y'all that. So now, according to NME, Underwood's rendition of America the Beautiful at the U.S. president's swearing-in ceremony went viral after she endured technical issues during her performance. And she ain't the only one, because I talked about it on the show. Billy Ray Cyrus also had technical issues when he performed for, Trump. So, despite that, her streaming numbers actually fell by 6% on Inauguration Day. This is on January 20th. Now, Underwood's music was streamed 1.46 million times on the day, down from 1.55 million the previous week, according to Luminate via Billboard. Now, both artists did see a small increase in digital download sales, although neither managed to top the 1,000 download mark that day. So, yeah, what that basically means is that you're going to get people who are Trump supporters that don't really listen to her music or whatever the case is, who are, let me stream her music and give it a gander. And same thing with Nelly. But yeah, it's like they're a small community who just happens to be so damn loud, you can't tune out the damn noise. And I think that's what confuses a lot of people. Y'all seem to think that he has the majority. It's like, no, the majority wasn't going to be affected by the mess, but not the majority of America made the decision. And it kills me that you got these Trump supporting maggot reporters who want to be, well, America decided. No, America did not fucking decide it. A percentage of America decided who they wanted to be president. And then there was a percentage of America who decided to sit it out because they didn't like either side. And then there was some percentages of Americans who are not Trump supporters, but voted for him out of spite to Kamala Harris because of her campaign and what she stood on. She was running her campaign the same way that Trump was. She wasn't distancing herself from him. And then also, let's not forget, you know what, partially it's Biden's fault too, because he the one that hid her up in the attic like she was Ann Damn Frank for 3 years. And then all of a sudden, when America, Will Robinson danger, the brain is becoming mashed potatoes in the Biden administration. So now we need to go up in the attic, pull all the cobwebs out of her hair and on all aspects of her body, dust her off, bring her out, and try to have her say what's left of the Central Democratic Party. And you saw what happened. And there were people, I don't know if I said this because, sometimes when I get into politics, my brain just starts to jarble. But there were people that decided, to vote for Trump out of spite. And I knew people that told about they were going to do that. I had conversations, and it was pissing me off, low key, but I got why they were doing it. And they were like, "Oh no, I want to teach the Democrats a lesson because y'all just taking our vote for granted." These were black people I was talking to in regard to this. It's like, no, you pissing them off. So they were willing to just give the finger to the Democrats to teach them a lesson. It's like, no, you're not going to come up in here and take us for granted. Like when Biden says, "Oh, you ain't black if you don't vote for me." Well, you doing the bare minimum, not only for the blacks but the gays too. Why didn't you secure things where we can't roll back things for the homosexuals or the LGBTQIA pluses, black people, or people of color in general? And don't even get me started. Have y'all been seeing these videos that's going around of the Hispanics that's getting on social media talking about that they need the black people to come together and help them and all this other stuff because Trump is out here deporting them? First of all, in this episode of FAFO, as in fuck around and find out, we tried to tell you, don't bozos, what the situation was. But y'all was out here saying, "Oh no, he gonna deport the bad immigrants." You think that old orange heifer, that bona fide racist, who y'all have known has been a racist for eon? Well, I've known because I grew up in New York knowing about Donald Trump and his whole situation. And you think that he was gonna go around and just be like, "Oh well, check that one. That one don't look bad, but check that one over there. He might be a bad immigrant." No, y'all all look the same to them. Whether you Venezuelan, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Colombian, Brazilian, a Nicaraguan, he think all of y'all come from fucking Mexico. This is how a lot of these racists think. And we've been trying to tell y'all, but a lot of y'all be so caught up in y'all, I don't want to be a colored, I don't want to be Afro-Latino, I don't accept those over there. I want to be white so goddamn bad that I'm willing to fuck over my own people so that way I can get a piece of that pie your ass ain't never gonna get. And that's the reality. As long as you giving them what they want, as long as they can use you up and squeeze all the juice out of the damn lemon, and you give them what they, and this is what he's gotten. He got what he wanted. He won the popular vote, not by a lot, but he won it. And look what he's doing, pissing it all. It ain't been 2 damn weeks that man been in office already fucking about democracy, which we knew he was going to do, but we didn't know he was going to do it this damn fast though. So I don't want to get too political heavy in this, but it's just like when we start talking, I go there. But then also, when you get these celebrities that sit up in here and talk about live and let live and blah, 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 it's like, do you not realize what y'all jumping on when what you're aligning yourself with when you get with this man? This is not some just regular politician. He's not trying to operate like a regular politician. He's saying all the quiet parts out loud. He's willing to destroy this country so that way the top percent of billionaires can clean us the fuck out while the world crumbles around them. So when you get people like Carrie Underwood and Nelly and them jumping on the situation, it's just a joke to me. So now they said Nelly, who performed at President Trump's inaugural Liberty Ball and responded to backlash, calling it an honor to perform for the ceremony, also saw a decline in his listenership. His songs were streamed 1.54 million times on the day of his inauguration, down to 1.63 million a week earlier. Now, following Underwood's performance, fellow country music singer Jason Aldean came to her defense. He told Fox and Friends, "First of all, it's a hard song to do anyway. When you're supposed to be singing to which, okay, I don't want to hear no bullshit ass excuses singing to no damn track." Like Jason Aldean, whatever. Next, we're gonna move on from him. So now, what they were saying was that she has now Underwood has been someone who has kept her political views quiet over the years. But then somebody pointed out to me that she came out with a Christian record. So they said well, she recorded a Christian album, so that kind of That kind of should have tipped us off to where she leaned. If that, and I hate that we got to go into stereotypes, but you know what? Sometimes there's always a little bit of truth in a stereotype. So my thing is this, and I've said this before. Whatever the decision you decide to make regarding supporting one of the most polarizing politicians in American history, you can't be mad at the backlash from fans who supported your work in the past. So if you're going to do it for the money, I hope you were paid well, and I hope you were paid in full, because you know Trump don't like paying for shit when he goes out to get whatever. He just thinks that he could just bulldoze his way through things, and then other people are going to pay for it when we are the ones who end up paying for it. Then they talk about them tariffs. Who you think paying for it? Not Colombia, where he was talking about going against Colombia. And you know, we get a lot of our coffee imported from Colombia. And you want to deal with a whole bunch of Americans who can't have no goddamn coffee, meat included? You want a bunch of Luigis walking around this city? Then blow up the whole tariff situation with coffee and watch what happens. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So, like I said, y'all can't be mad at the backlash in this situation. I just don't understand people who, well, I should be able to perform for whoever. Yeah, and you should. And one of the things, that's why I've always said, I do not put any of these celebrities on a pedestal. I don't admire none of these celebrities. I've been around enough of them to know what it's like being the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain, and seeing the bullshit and the smoke and mirrors for what it is. Which is why I try to tell y'all on these shows. And I find it funny that these people still be out here disappointed in these celebrities. Don't be. So I'm not surprised that the numbers and stuff went down. And you know what? When people decide to move on, as in people, if you don't align with their political beliefs, they move on from it. And then you'll get a couple of new fans, but it don't seem like by many. And quiet as it's kept, I'm surprised that many people's out here screaming Nelly's music. Nelly ain't had no hits in a month of Sundays. And I'll say this also. We'll see how this affects both of them on two things. One, she's about to start being on American Idol. We'll see how it affects the ratings with her being a part of that show, knowing all the stuff Trump is doing. And from what I've been hearing, he's out here still doing rallies. I'm like, you're the president. Why are you still doing rallies? But I think the rallies is, so while he's doing all the fuckery, he's going out there doing the rallies and trying to calm y'all down, and y'all still fall for it. I just don't get it, but it's people in the call. So we'll see how it affects her ratings-wise with the American Idol. We'll see how it affects Nelly with his upcoming residency in Vegas. And see if he can get them people out there to support the both of them. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to hearing about Carrie Underwood's and Nelly's streaming numbers taking a dip after performing for you know who, in the words of Whoopi Goldberg? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I said, let me close this and get to some of these comments. I said, where's that? Oh, you said the backlash is backlash. Okay. You said Taylor Swift should get conservative backlash, but in reality, it's the other way around. Trust us, we are watching the candidates, and the goal is 2026. After the federal aid thing and the January 6th release that wasn't popular, and it's I definitely saw the approval rating went down. I saw that earlier. So, and I would not be surprised that not even 6 months into his presidency, he'll be wallowing in the 20s in regards to his approval rating. And I'm wondering at what point, when is his supporters actually going to unplug from the matrix and realize that he's a problem? You said Carrie Underwood has always been known as the mean girl of country. Oh, I didn't know that because I don't listen to her music. But you said the gays are turning against her. You seen that meme going around when Hillary Duff refused to sit with her at the hockey? No, I think I might have seen that years ago, but no, I haven't seen it. But I didn't know that she was known as a mean girl of country. I mean, it makes sense. She does look like a raging bitch, but we'll see. Funny enough, I was watching something earlier, and Meatball, who does a podcast with Big Dipper over on the Mom Network on YouTube. She was talking about that Before He Cheats was her go-to song. I guess she ain't performing it no more. So yeah, a lot of the drag queens are no longer going to be performing Taylor Swift. Are going to be performing Carrie Underwood songs at the drag bar because you know you're going to get booed if you do. People were warned about trying to Project 2025. They didn't listen. Okay. And that's what I was going to say too. Stand on business. This is the episode of FIFO. Fuck around and find out. So y'all getting upset and worrying about, oh, my dad's about to get deported and my mom got detained or was at a checkpoint and they asked her to pull out her ID and blah, 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 blah. And now you want to ask for the help of black folks first? Well, I don't feel no ways tired if they take all your family members away. And I'm not going to come up in here and say that it's across the board because it's funny. You have to reiterate this because people are too goddamn stupid to realize that I'm not talking about every single Hispanic. I'm talking about those of you idiots that decided to go out and vote for him. Now, unfortunately, the people who did not vote for him that are undocumented or in here, on a visa or whatever the case is, they unfortunately have to suffer because of the bullshit that y'all decided to pull. If y'all wasn't affected by Tony Hinchcliffe calling Puerto Rico, floating island of garbage, if y'all weren't affected by a lot of the racist things that Trump was saying against the Latin community, he ain't talking about us, he's talking about them. No, he was talking about all of y'all. I don't know why you think just because he singled out Mexicans that he wasn't talking about all you bitches. He was talking about every last one of y'all. If you're not white, rich, and male, he don't want nothing to do with you. If you're not offering him anything financially, because he is basically easily bought and paid for. Why do you think he made all his money? Trump is a joke in New York City's real estate community. I've been telling y'all that. Nobody wants to listen. The only thing that gave him a rebrand was The Apprentice, because quiet as it's kept, no real estate person in New York or anywhere wanted to do that show. Because they're actually, doing real estate deals. He's on TV pretending to. So people think what they seeing on the TV show was actually real. First of all, that was a set that y'all saw. That boardroom, people was telling me like how horrible and tacky the furniture was in the actual and decrepit. A lot of the furniture in Trump Tower is. They couldn't film in there, so they had to build a set. Those producers that worked on The Apprentice, they made him into what he is, and that's what y'all are buying into. You're buying into a TV persona. This is why I said the thing about Jon Stewart, because apparently y'all don't want actual politicians running this country. Y'all want a celebrity. Y'all want somebody relatable instead of somebody who actually knows how to do the goddamn job. Now, the problem with the Democrats, what y'all need to do is find somebody, and don't even give me, you know what I was just thinking about, like, as I'm sitting here talking about them, I'm thinking about that old lurch-looking bastard, John Fetterman, who reminds me of, remember, what was it? Damn, what's that movie that Rob Zombie directed? The real tall guy that was leaning over, that was in, the sequel to The House of a Thousand Corpses. That's what he reminds me of. Damn, why did I forget the name of that movie? Nelly just happy boss man phone rang. Okay. So he was happy that he got that check. The sad part is Carrie and Nelly and Snoop will all just be just fine because America has exactly. They do. So the outrage is fake for now. I want these people to know Trump is different from the Bushes, McCain, and Romney Republicans. Even Ronald Reagan wasn't this extreme. No, and the funny thing was he didn't even start out as a Republican. I mean, he wasn't even a Republican. He was a Democrat, but he goes where the wind blows. Like a lot of these people, they say we will forget. I'm like the ones that didn't forget, didn't vote for him. And yeah, back to golfing weekends. Yeah, because he was out there golfing in Mar-a-Lago. Katy Perry gave Carrie her gig on American Idol to go on tour, and now her tour is flopping. I won't be surprised if she's back next season, okay? Look, I already said if the tour doesn't do that well here, she should have just signed up and did another residency. Quiet as it's kept. I said that from the beginning when she was talking about she was going on a Lifetime. So I'm like, man. Now I think it'll do well overseas because Europeans, no shade, but y'all like everything and anything to a point. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Camila Cabello could go overseas and actually sell out some dates. Unlike when she was in Georgia, when we talked about that yesterday. But yeah, so I don't know if it'll necessarily do well, but I already know what Robert's gonna do. I know you're gonna keep a tally on them ticket sales. Because he was doing that with Kylie Minogue. I know you was worried about Kylie selling out certain dates in America. I'm like, she'll be fine. Because we said the same thing about the Sweat tour too. But yeah, we'll see if Katy Perry actually sells out. So now I know she'll be able to sell out the Garden. And see, she only did one date instead of two. It's funny how Kylie Minogue seemed like to be the bigger star than her. So Kylie Minogue could do 2 dates in New York and sell it out, but you could only do one. All right, niece. Trump likes attention, so he'll do a rally every week if he could because his cult will support him. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's a good draw for ratings to begin with. That's what I was saying. Like when they said Carrie Underwood, I'm like, really? I mean, I would have rather y'all went with Kelly Clarkson. I mean, I understand she's on NBC with her talk show, but I would have rather y'all said Kelly Clarkson or child. I would have rather y'all put a homosexual on there and had Adam Lambert. But I understand y'all gotta keep the momentum of 2 guys and a girl. So, or Fantasia. Like we've been saying for the longest, we wanted Fantasia. I don't know why you can put on it. You got the country dude, you got the R&B dude, or the pop dude, and you have the R&B singer. So you could have Fantasia up in there with Lionel Richie and the other one. What's his name? Luke Bryan. His approval rating has dropped from 56 to 52 in a week. And I will not be surprised by the end of Black History Month, it'll be floundering in the 20s. Which he's trying to make sure that we don't even celebrate Black History Month. Who's like, all of a sudden my eye itching. Okay, Chuck said Project 2025 was scrubbed and retired. Oh, you talking about Chuck as in Zachary Levi? He said, was it Schumer? Was scrubbed and retired after they realized it wasn't popular with the population. I'm like, they're much fucking smarter than last time where they weren't prepared. Are you talking about, were they trying to do Project 2025 during his first term? Or retitled? Oh yeah, they did say that they retitled that Project 2025. They called it something else. Yeah, that was rejects. Thank you. Hey, you said that tall motherfucker was in Big Fish. Oh, he was? So you know exactly what I was talking about. That's what John Fetterman reminds me of. And I find it funny, them idiots over there at The View and all these other people, these centrist Democrats, I think he's so revolutionary because he walks around in cargo shorts and a hoodie. I'm like, really? What's so revolutionary about it? Because all of y'all wear suits and shit in Congress, that because his fucked up brain can't comprehend putting a regular outfit on, but then you over there licking Trump taint and going down to Mar-a-Lago and all this other stuff, we supposed to be all accepting. But they won't talk about it over there on mainstream media because they'll end up getting fired like old boy over at CNN. You said, I heard Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan is very great, but the echo chamber says J.D. Vance is the next president. I'm like, oh, nobody likes the male Sarah Palin outside. And here's the thing. I don't want to say this out loud, but just between us, I feel like they are doing J.D. Vance like Joe Biden did Kamala Harris, where it's like we don't really see or hear from him much. He comes out every now and again. But when it comes down to the end of Trump's term, then they're going to try to pull him out. And at this point, people will be like, who are you? What are you doing? Why do we need to, and why should we vote for you? And that's what they did with Kamala Harris, where it was like, y'all put her away, like I said, up in the attic, like she was Anne Frank. And then when y'all decide to pull her out, then it's sort of like, oh, well, she had to do this rush job for all of us to get to know her because they were afraid she was going to overshadow Joe Biden's fragile ego having ass. And the sad part about Kamala is that she went along with it because she's that black woman or that woman of color who's just so happy she got a good gig. And you know how the people are. You got to be demure and mindful because you don't want to overshadow the white people because, mediocrity with a lot of y'all. So they ain't want her trying to overpower the situation. But here's the thing. When you old and you've been doing a job for too damn long and your mental is on the decline, sometimes you do need that backup to help you run the country. Gays are saying Denver. I'm like, if Charlie can do Denver, so can Kylie. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of gays that's living in Denver. I know some gays that live out in Denver. Also, it's becoming the normal, not a lot of concerts selling out due to the economy. Oh, yeah, that's what's definitely going to happen, too. Like, I feel like our economy is going to be hit real hard, and a lot of people are going to be suffering. It's including a lot of shows. And I'm hoping that this doesn't affect my job because that's, I work in events. So I'm hoping it's not going to affect me and my money, I laugh, but yeah, I'm a little worried about that too, especially if people can't afford to go to, concerts and all kinds of other things. I'm still celebrating Pride Month too. So they motherfucker burn until the social media network happened and reveal. Oh yeah. Notice how Elon Musk is very silent and well after last week's fuck up. Well, I heard he's been kind of like pushed out of the White House. Like he's been trying to assert himself a little bit too much in there, and he's kind of been put in the doghouse a little bit, which I'm actually liking. He is, and a lot of people getting scared about this whole thing. There's a lot of things that he's got to make sure to get changed within the Constitution. It's not going to happen. You have to have a lot of states, not states, but you have to have a lot of states that have to be able to approve on a third term situation. That is not going to happen. So, if he think that he gonna not get pushed about that place kicking and screaming, he got nothing coming. I was gonna say they could do him like they did James Marsden in that new show with the black dude from This Is Us. This is a new show that's on Hulu. I can't remember the name of it, but I saw that opening sequence. James Marsden plays the president, and he basically, well, this would probably be a little spoiler, and the black, I forget his damn name, the black guy from This Is Us, he goes in to the he goes into the bedroom to see if because they was all saying, the Secret Service people was like, oh, he's still asleep, he ain't get up. So he goes into the room, he sees that his head been bashed and he's laying on the floor unresponsive, and now they got to find out what happened to him. And I'm like, now there's an idea, but read between the lines. Yep, we have another January 6th. Hopefully, they'll be prepared to take these people out. Because you already heard that it was mentioned on the show yesterday that one of the January Sixers was unalived at a traffic stop. Some people say he was better off staying in jail. As you said, sadly. All right, so speaking of Snoop, let's get into him. So apparently, he was dragged him rightfully so over performing for President Donald Trump's inauguration. And so he's standing 10 toes down on his on why he did what he did. And so let's get into it. So Snoop Dogg seems sick of being the internet's punching bag. Oh, well, because he chose to perform at President Donald Trump's crypto ball during his inaugural weekend. Now, the West Coast rap legend tackled critics head on in an Instagram live stream he held on Sunday, where he seemingly defended his performance at a Trump event. He said, "It's Sunday. I got gospel in my heart. Don't use Jesus to kind of cloth the fact that you the damn coon and buffoon." So he said, "For all the hate, I'm going to answer with love. I love too much. Get your life right. Stop worrying about mine. I'm cool. I'm together. Still a black man. Still 100% black. All out till you ball out or till you fall out." Now, the Gin and Juice rhymer wasn't the only one to catch flack for performing at the crypto ball. Rick Ross in that gut and Soldier Boy also came under fire for taking the stage at Trump's crypto ball. Meanwhile, Nelly faced harsh criticism for performing at Trump's Liberty Ball on January 20th. But here's the thing. I think people are going more or less in on Rick Ross and Snoop Dogg more so than Soldier Boy, because Soldier Boy, Superman, that song came out like 20 years ago. So nobody's really checking for Soldier Boy like that. Soldier Boy's career is not popping on the level of a Snoop Dogg and a Rick Ross. So therefore, people are going to go in on you a lot harder because when you look at someone like a Snoop Dogg, he is someone who is a cultural icon, especially in hip hop. And so a lot of people in the hip hop space look up to him. That's why people call him, a lot of us, Uncle Snoop. So when you go off and you do stuff like this, it kind of goes against the very thing that you're supposed to be standing for as an artist. I'm not saying he's like one of the dirty backpack clique. Like he's not a common or something like that. Like he's not a conscious rapper, but he speaks about somebody who understands struggle and coming from the streets and all this other stuff. Why does it skip? I heard some people saying that Snoop was actually a plant. That he was like some kid that went to like a regular good school and all this other stuff. He was kind of doing hood cosplay. That was the word that some people were saying. Well, I don't know. I ain't grow up with Snoop. I don't know what it was like being, knowing him when he was growing up in California. So, of everyone, they said that Snoop has caught the brunt of the backlash on social media, as many labeled him a sellout, among other things. And you also need to realize that, the reason why I think people are going harder on you, Snoop, is because of a certain video that you put out that on TikTok. I don't know how long ago it was, but you put out a video on TikTok, sir, where you was out here talking about which of you jigaboos and all this other stuff is going to perform for Trump, and then you was going to drag them for doing so. So since you need a reminder, let's give you a little reminder. Please hold.
For Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck out one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you niggas gonna do it first? Osby's the one that performs for himself.
So yeah, let me pause it there because I know it's like music and I don't want to get demonetized. So yeah, so since you need a reminder and you want to talk about jigaboo ass ninjas and roasting people, I hope you took a long, hard look in that damn mirror before you started reading yourself for filth. So then they said something where they said some found it hypocritical that Snoop was now performing at Trump's ball when he offensively parodied him during the politician's first term in his 2017 Lavender music video. He also noted that he didn't stress the hate in a recent episode of the R&B Money podcast because he prefers succeeding over stooping to his haters' level. He said, you're going to deal with hate when you get to the top, no matter who you are. How you deal with the hate, you answer it with hate, or do you answer it with love and success? Me personally, I answer it with success and love. That's my answer to any hate and negativity that comes my way because it's the strongest force that can beat it. But what I don't understand, and then also before we get to my overall thoughts, Marlon Wayans came to his defense. Marlon, tread lightly. We got Scream 6. I mean, we got Scary Movie 6 supposed to be coming out, and we don't want you trying to get canceled for you defending Snoop before this damn movie gets off the ground. But he's did an interview for the radio show The Wiz and said the following. He said, I know Snoop, and I know Snoop has always been a real one. I'm not going to allow for public skewering. So then ask your friends, since y'all so close, why the hell he did what he did. So we're not going to sit about here and say, I did it with love, because that's not what Trump leads with. That's not what his administration leads with. And we know at the end of the day, while they're trying to peel back every aspect of what a lot of us who are othered have worked hard for in this country, y'all won't be affected because you got money where you could just get up and go. If you do decide to do that. And to me, just like a lot of you coons that were shucking and jiving for a position in his political cabinet, and y'all still waiting around for that job, including, remember Vivek had a job, his brown ass was out on day one. And I saw he did like an interview somewhere where he wanted to explain. I didn't care enough to listen to him because he's another one who just sits and lies all damn day. So I didn't give a good goddamn what he had to say in regards of what lie he was going to tell and why his ass was fired. But when you look at this whole situation, you're being used. Just like a lot of those black people that was running on thinking they was going to get a seat at the table in his cabinet were used. So that way they could rile up certain people and he could do whatever they had to do to get whatever votes they need to get so that way you could win, because that's all Trump cares about. All he cares about is winning by any means necessary. He doesn't care if he's got to rob, cheat, steal, or even unalive someone to get where he needs to get. All he cares about is the win. He don't care about who he got to step over to get to the win. So when you want to sit up here and talk about you had nothing but love in your heart, apparently you had jigaboo and the coon in your heart as well. Because that's the only explanation I can think of as to why you would choose to perform for a racist like this man. Especially when during his first term, you were ready, to cuss out any black performer that would tap dance for him. And this is the thing that irritates me too, because when you go and say that Trump is a racist, Trump is this, Trump is that, well, then why would he invite Snoop Dogg and Nelly to perform for him? And that's always the argument a lot of you racist clear folk like to use to justify your bullshit. It's like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. We know exactly what it is. It's about opportunity and using. And sometimes when you dangle low-hanging fruit, that big old shiny apple like they did with Adam and Eve in front of somebody, that temptation kicks in the form of money. Some people gonna take it. Just be honest and say why you did it. Stop trying to say that you did it with love or whatever the case was, because people bringing up your past and that video that I just played. How do you explain that? You can't explain yourself out of that. And at the end of the day, to wrap this up, what Black celebrities need to realize, but that when you perform for the likes of a Trump, you often become puppets for agendas that don't truly represent Black liberation. Performing for him doesn't get you a seat at their white table. So, when people like Nelly want to sarcastically bring up things about Biden, when he said, if you don't vote for me, that you aren't Black, if you don't agree with Biden's policies, don't perform for him either. But has Biden done anything remotely worse than what Trump's doing in regards of Black people and rolling back Black rights or rights of people who are othered? Because I will say this, both sides are a hot ass mess. And until we can get corporate funding like APAC and the NRA and all these other people out of our government affairs and stop buying off our politicians so they can keep doing the things that they're doing to innocent people for profit, and remove these robber barons and oligarchs from our politics, we still gonna be floundering around the same bullshit that we've been floundering around. Now y'all just starting to notice it because we can't ignore it no more. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding everything I had to say about this whole situation with Snoop and everything else that goes along with that? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Team Martha. Martha. Remember that from Superman? That was such a stupid little scenario. According to Snoop, it's over a pardon. Oh yeah, I did hear that. That Mark Lamont Hill was talking about that Trump had pardoned his best friend or whatever. And so I guess as a favor, that's why he did it. It was a quid pro quo type of situation. And I feel like, you know what? If it was a quid pro quo type of situation, that it was like, you know what? You helped my friend out. Thank you. It was Harry O. That's what it was. So if it's because I won't remember everybody's names in here, but I'm glad I have y'all because y'all helped. So if you're doing it for that reason, then I'm not that mad at you over that. Just say that was the reason. It was like, you know what? He helped out a friend of mine. And as a favor, that's why I did it. It was me paying a debt. Unfortunately, sometimes, when it comes to politics or whatever the case is, sometimes you got to dance with the devil to get shit done. I say that a lot of times too. It ain't, politics ain't easy. Politics ain't clean. And like I said, if he would have said that, then I'd be like, you know what? I'm not mad at him. But if people still would have been mad over that, it's like, okay, y'all really don't know how the world works. Like, it's not just a black and white type situation. He said, I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 years we're in another world war. Child, we're already in one. We're in a lot of wars. They said work with Snoop back in the day. So yeah, it was like, yeah, they were good with people back in those days. So I did hear that was one of the reasons. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I've heard other people, like I said, Mark Lamont Hill had brought that up. Okay, so let's talk about Miss D.Woods, who's basically opening up about her encounter of being a part of Danity Kane. And, so when it comes down to Danity Kane, the only one that we have heard over the years that has spoken out against the diddler was none other than Aubrey O'Day. Now it's D.Woods is the latest one to come forward, and she's featured on the new documentary that I think is on it's on ID, but HBO Max, if you have that, I believe, is airing it. So she sat down and spoke to ABC News' Eva Pilgrim on Good Morning America, and said, I would say that this moment now is a time where I feel like my experience, my truth will really be heard and actually considered and believed. And I will play y'all a clip that I got off the Twitter. However, demonetization, copyright situations, I don't want to put myself in that situation, so I'm just going to have to read it. So she said, he is looked at as a hero in our community, and myself included. I looked up to him too. So a lot of people don't want to believe that their hero can also be this other person. And for those who are not aware, D.Woods was a member of Danity Kane from 2005 to 2008. And that seems to be the shelf life for a lot of girl groups. They only last about 3 or 4 good years before they kind of break up or something happens. Now, Combs, who was arrested in September, remains in custody at the Federal Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn after a judge denied him bail. Now, federal prosecutors allege that, we don't need to go through the things of what the federal, because we do it in every damn episode, so we don't need a reminder. Unless y'all want one, just Google Schmoogle, because I get tired of having to read what his charges are. We already know. So I don't know how old is this, because they said, tune into GMA on Monday. So I guess the interview happened yesterday, because today is Tuesday. So now they also said that, based off of what D.Woods has said, Combs' attorneys has responded with a statement saying, in part, the producers failed to provide sufficient time or details for his representatives to address unsubstantiated claims, many from unidentified participants whose allegations lack context. By withholding this information, they made it impossible for Mr. Combs to present facts to counter these fabricated accusations. He has full confidence in the facts and the judicial process where the truth will prevail. Well, if that was the truth, then why was he trying to get bail so many damn times and they denied him? Because they knew that he is absolutely a dangerous man. He is basically the Black Jeffrey Epstein, if not worse. Or who knows what level of worse. I think they probably just equally as disgusted. But how you going to sit up here and say they failed to acknowledge all these things and they withheld information? They made it impossible for him to present facts. How was he going to present facts? You had like files upon files of things in his cell? Because he ain't gonna be able to get out and provide the evidence. And a lot of times, abuse of any kind is hard to prove. So it's usually always a he say, she say type situation. So I have not seen the Diddy documentary with D.Woods in it yet. I've heard good things about it. I heard that it's, from Felix, friend of the show, who's in the comments, told about it earlier before I got to this specific topic and said that, they dig into things that we haven't heard about. Me, when I saw the one that was on Peacock, I felt like majority of the stuff in here I knew, except for, some of the stuff that Albie Shore said in his interview when he was interviewed for them, and his conversations about Kim Porter and things that she may not have been privy to. But for the most part, when it comes down to it, I'm really looking forward to seeing this series, because it is. I think it's 4 episodes where we get to dive deep into all the shenanigans from the Diddler, which I'm actually looking forward to. I was going to see. So Felix said this new Diddy documentary has a feel like Surviving R. Kelly. Yeah, I was somewhat comfortable with Surviving R. Kelly, even though I knew a lot of the stuff because I grew up on R. Kelly and hearing certain things. And I am kind of irritated that my sister is someone who continues to support R. Kelly's music. I'm still listening to his music. And it's not necessarily that a lot of the things that he did to the girls is afflicted. I'm like, yes, it is. Like, you listen to some of the songs, it's like based on some of the things that we heard in them in the docu-series and all the other stuff that was coming out. It was like, he was writing songs based off of what he was doing to young girls. So it was like you was kind of telling yourself in them situations. Like, I'm one of the people that, I can separate art from music when it comes to certain people. But when you are somebody that takes it an extreme too far, then it's like, I got to be done with you. So I think like with music, it's harder. I mean, no, music is harder because movies is easier because movies is like an ensemble. It's kind of like I can't stand Mel Gibson, but I love Lethal Weapon. I love Braveheart. I like a lot of movies that he's done, and I love Mad Max. But it's not just him; it's an ensemble, so I can separate. When it's the musician and the shenanigans, it's kind of difficult because it's just you. Oh, so you said Aubrey O'Day got a call from House of Villains and apparently got threats that she better not talk about Diddy. And then the after mysteriously got pulled. The offer got mysteriously got pulled, but then she went on Baddies season 5. I don't understand how she do Baddies, but yeah, she should have went on that show. House of Villains, she would definitely fit on there. And why can't she talk about Diddy? What are you gonna do from Beyond the Grave? And they said she was getting hit up by lawyers while she was filming, but they edited it all out because they was getting threats. And Baddies isn't that on the Zeus network? Okay, so it's only 2 episodes. So basically, it's 2 episodes from, what's going on. So I think it's a 4-hour episode. It's probably like, was 2 hours, basically, 2 episodes. So it's going to be 4 hours. I'll sit up and I'll watch it. I'll catch both of them. And me personally, I prefer when you just drop all the episodes and I just watch it, because once I'm on a roll, I don't want to go and watch something that heavy and then it's like, oh my God, I got to come back the next day or the next week to watch it, because then I will lose interest and I won't go back. So you might as well just get me while you can, so I can sit down and devote that time to watching both the movies and then or all in one situation and then keep it moving. So excuse me. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this? Have you seen the interview that she did over on Good Morning America? And also, have you watched both episodes of the docuseries that she did, D.Woods, over on the ID network / HBO Max? Because if you have streaming, that's where you can watch it. Whatever your thoughts are on this whole situation, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, hold on. I said, let me take that out, because I was up in the comments. You said, it concludes tonight. I'll see that. But last night's episode was 2 hours from his childhood to his marriage to Kim Porter. And did they mention how he got with Kim Porter? That apparently she was dating Albie Shore at the time. And he was in a relationship with Misa and saw Kim at a recording session that Albie Shore was at. I guess he was doing a recording session, and Kim Porter was in the room, and he saw her, and he had to have her. Sounds very familiar to, like I said about him and Cassie. Cassie was with Ryan Leslie, who produced a lot of her music. Diddy saw her while he was in a relationship with Kim Porter. Seems like it's a pattern. Yeah, Mel Gibson's a hot ass mess, child. Okay. Now, speaking of hot ass mess, let's talk about Allison Holker. So, girl, you're literally about to become one of the most unliked people in the industry. Bad enough, people don't like her for putting out that. Did that book come out yet? How did it do? Did anybody buy it? That book she put out about Twitch, and now she out here spilling more tea. Talking about that she was out here hunching him at a Glee live in concert event at the O2 in the UK. Well, the O2 Arena in Ireland, actually. It wasn't in the UK. They do have one in the UK, but they have one in Ireland as well. So now it says, according to Us Weekly, it says, during the Monday, January 27th episode of the Jamie Kern Lima Show podcast, Holker, who's 36, was asked about falling in love with Boss, as in Stephen Twitch Boss, to which she replied, I was like, oh, I like him. It was just his presence was really powerful, but soft and welcoming all at the same time. Now, Holker then addressed a specific passage in her book about the pair hooking up in public, saying the only reason I was so willing to share this story is he actually shared this story on the Ellen DeGeneres show. I was devastated that he was willing to share this on TV. We were just in this very honeymoon phase of dating where everything was just really exciting, and we were both on these big tours. Mine was a national tour, his was international. So we were just traveling to see each other and support each other at each other's shows. Well, it goes to show that, you know what, girl, you always be a local girl while Twitch will be international. Because Twitch was loved by everybody everywhere. Now, Holker went to see Boss perform as an opening act of the Glee tour. The couple started to explore the concert arena. She said, we found some stairs. We ended up on some scaffolding above everyone watching the Glee part of the show. We were literally looking at the performance from Glee. We just started making out and we were looking down. There's all these audience members screaming and cheering, but they couldn't see us. She added, it was kind of romantic. Really? I didn't know getting your back blown out on a rooftop was romantic, but whatever floats your boat, sis. So she added, it was kind of romantic. We started doing doing the deed, and then all of a sudden, it's funny how she said doing the deed. I asked that to Jinx Monsoon when I interviewed her when we were talking about Amy Winters. I said, y'all do the do? He said, no, we didn't do the do. But then, so she said we started doing the deed, and all of a sudden, security was flashing their lights like, who's up there? We just froze, and then security couldn't see us for whatever reason. I don't know. They left, and we just ran out from there. That was probably the most wild thing I've ever done. But don't they have cameras? Because, child, let me tell you, at the garden, cameras is everywhere up in that place. You can't hide nowhere if you wanted to. So now Holker said that she was thankful they didn't get caught. She said, I definitely think they would have been a very, very bad look. And I wouldn't suggest it to anyone else, but it was just a very in the moment type of thing. It was so dangerous. I don't know how that happened. We were just wild kids and it was fun. But yeah, when it comes to your youth and all this other stuff, it can be a wild situation. However, that was a little TMI. We didn't need to know that girl. And I don't know I wonder what is happening in regards of the family, in regards of her and telling all this stuff and all the tea being spilled and how they feel about all of this, because it just seems like no, well, I was going to say no shade because I was trying to be nice, but it just seems like, Allison, you can't go nowhere. You can't do nothing. You can't have no kind of situation without piggybacking off of him. Or from talking about Twitch and Twitch being a part of your narrative. It's like, girl, who are you outside of this man? And I guess maybe we'll never know, especially since anybody gonna buy this book. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to her spilling some sexual tea? She said it was mentioned on the Ellen DeGeneres show. I don't know. I guess I have to take her word for it because quiet as it's kept, after a certain amount of time, I stopped watching Ellen. I just felt like she was doing the same tight ass dance moves and doing the same old routine. She just seemed like she was so bored with her job and was kept just doing it because they kept backing that damn Brinks truck over there at NBC and the show was a hit. But I would just never really. The Ellen show was cute in the beginning. I fell out of love with it. I was more or less, Wendy Williams. That's where my whole situation was, just watching her show and her be messy. So, in combating of what Ellen was doing over there on her show. So, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, yeah, they said he's had issues with every woman he's dated. And they said, so she was doing live adult sympathy. Okay, in real time at the time. And the funny thing was, when you said that they said that he had issues with every woman he dated, do y'all think it's because low key Diddy was a homosexual and was kind of hiding behind women? Because that was what it could be a lot of times in hip hop, especially, is that there is a perceived situation where you have to perpetuate a certain image when you're in Hollywood. I mean, in Hollywood, and when you're in hip hop, and so like we don't like any of that gay stuff. It was predominantly extremely homophobic. I feel like in so many ways it still is, but there's a lot of queer rappers that are on the come up and have been doing the thing independently for over 20 years. So it kind of makes me wonder, is like, because look, Wendy Williams out here spilling the tea. There was always stories about him in New York, and I feel like a lot of the women, maybe he resented them. And I think also it was because, like, his upbringing, the thing that we heard about in the other documentary, where he was introduced to sex at a young age with his mother having freak offs at the house. And how him and his childhood friend who was living up in that house also would witness. They would walk into rooms and they said they see people intimate, butt ass naked in the bed. So being exposed to sex at such a young age, your mother being all free love with it, and who knows if anything may have happened to him, like maybe he was touched, whatever case is. I don't know. I'm not in Diddy brain. I'm not his therapist, but I'm thinking that when you say that he was surrounded by so many people, and you had the gays up in there, you had all kinds of, you had the hustlers, the drug dealers, all these other people up in there, I would not be surprised if there was some situations that may have occurred. Now I know this little girl ain't trying to clean her little bit of fame by saying everything died. I ain't never heard of this white girl before. There's a second Just a second now. She talking about it was romantic. Well, yeah, that's his wife. Well, me, I've known who Allison Holker is because I was a fan of So You Think You Could Dance. And I knew she was on that show. But Twitch, I was more or less familiar with. I think Twitch was on the show before her. He was on, or they may have been on the show around the same time. I don't remember the exact timeline off the top of my head. But yeah, they're both from So You Think You Could Dance. They met, I believe, on that show. And then they ended up dating. They got married. They had a bunch of kids. He even adopted her oldest child, Wesley, who was out here recently. I don't think I did the story on this show. Oh yeah, I did actually. And how she was out here defending her mother while all this other drama was going on with the family. So, well, with Twitch's family going in on her mother, she was out here running her mouth, and I'm like, girl, you're 16. Stay in a child's place. Kids should not be interfering in the things they don't understand, especially when your frontal lobe hasn't fully developed. So listen, I didn't hear about her until he died. But yeah, it was like nobody was really familiar with Allison. And I think she actually judged the last season of So You Think You Could Dance alongside Maxim Chmerkovsky and who's the other one? JoJo Siwa. So she was on there with her. Because it was supposed to be Nigel, but with the allegations against Paula Abdul, they had to take him off the show. I know his family ain't happy. She's trying to get her 5 minutes from his death. Okay. Twitch ain't never even said nothing about a girlfriend on Ellen Jenner's show. Oh, he did? Oh, he didn't. So, and I guess what she'll probably say, oh, he mentioned it on there. Like, we going to remember. Because the show had a bunch of damn seasons. And the show ain't on no more. So, some people going to be like, well, I must have missed that episode. So, we're not going to question it. Because, like we said, a lot of people got attention spans like a gnat. At least I think so, because there were no out gay rappers till like the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And Diddy definitely was given, how you doing? How you doing? Tease. They said he wasn't allowed to show emotion. Well, yeah. And that's the thing when it comes to a lot of hip hop, because people used to call him Shiny Suit Man. He used to say all kinds of stuff back in those days. So, and hip hop was like, yeah, you could show off and be glossy and flaws and show off the shininess and the rim, the cars and the mansions and the jewelry and the hot women and all that other stuff. But you can't show emotion. I think they're not gonna do the cages. I remember that's what hurt them because of them cost of the bid terms. Oh, you're talking about the deportation situation? Yeah, they basically just put them on planes and shipping them. Military planes, which I hear is way more expensive. But Trump don't care nothing about money, especially if he ain't spending it. You think Melania will do? I thought she didn't want to be at the White House. And you know what they were trying to say? That picture that she put out of the White House photo, whatever that she did, they said that she basically stole that from Robin Wright's exact pose from House of Cards. I saw that earlier. What do you think about the allegations about Diddy and Bieber? But yeah, I told about that in the show. I believe it, that something happened to him. And, some people believe that Usher may have had something to do with it, that Usher might have been touched as well, allegedly. And being that Usher was a mentor to Justin Bieber, that he was putting him in situations that was beyond his control, especially where all of a sudden Diddy's coming around and taking his kid under his wing and somebody he want to teach him some stuff. I'm like, why do you, first of all, you push, I don't know how old he was at the time, but I'll say you was probably pushing 40. Why are you hanging out with this little kid, this 15-year-old? What do you have in common with a child? The only thing you should have in common is if you raising, kids, like you got kids of your own, and we didn't really look, I guess in those days, we didn't really look at it as like problematic. People looked at it as like a mentor, or what is it, a Padawan Jedi type situation. So, and yeah, Justin do seem like a mess. And I still don't care about all these stories that's coming about him and Haley Bieber. I'm like, do people really care about that? I guess maybe white media cares, but I don't. I'm mad. It's bad proof coming out, especially looking at how he changes over the years and the videos of the two of them together. Yeah, I think a lot of people would believe that something may have happened, but until Justin feels brave enough to talk about it, all we can do is speculate, unfortunately. Okay, so now Well, child, let's get into this mess. It's a messy show today. So we gotta get into this Blake Lively stuff because now more stuff is coming out. And look, Justin Baldoni did say that he was going to release some text, some screenshots of his interaction with Blake, and they were trying to allude to over at the Daily Mail that their exchanges may have been a bit flirtatious. So Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have basically found themselves entangled in a legal feud and has captivated the public, as y'all know. But now DailyMail.com analysts of the trove of texts and messages buried in hundreds of pages of sparring legal filings in the nasty war of words raises an elusive question. Just who was flirting with who? Remember who zooming who? Who's flirting with who? I feel the same. It's just a good feeling to get work done that we're proud of and to do it together. This is what Lively 37 wrote tenderly to Baldoni in one such exchange. It just clicks when we do it. Now, their 2024 adaptation of Colleen Hoover's acclaimed novel exploring domestic violence. Oh, sorry, we're supposed to say DV on the channel. DV and Emotional Abuse was a surprise success at the box office, grossing $351 million on a budget of $25 million. Well, I guess with this movie, maybe Blake can relate. Emotional abuse, because she was causing apparently emotional abuse to Justin Baldoni. You know, if you let him tell it. So they said, but it also spawned multiple lawsuits and contentious court filings, and that depict the co-founding love-hate relationship between his two biggest stars. Now, according to 40-year-old Baldoni's version of events, his working relationship with Lively grew close to the point where the two stars would text one another daily. They shared stories and pictures from their lives, commiserated over family illnesses, and exchanged jokes and memes. The handsome actor, director, and the wife of Hollywood megastar Ryan Reynolds enjoyed a friendly banter and a comfortable dynamic that should have made working together easy. They said, I like sentimental Blake. This is what he replied, text mentioned above, prompting Lively to joke, never met her. But I do have evidence of the text, so I'll put that there. He quipped, I also like an asshole Blake. Don't worry, the Gossip Girl alum responded with self-deprecating humor, writing, I've met her, so have my suppositories. So it seems like she and Ryan Reynolds have a lot in common. Their banter of the way they speak sound very much similar. A lot of self-deprecating humor. So that's probably what she likes about him. Now, relations were similarly convivial is what they worded. But I hate when people would try to be like, okay, y'all just be looking into sources and trying to find a word so you can sound smart. So they said in May 2023, on the eve of filming for their hit flick about a pretty young florist who falls in love with a charming but abusive neurosurgeon. So then we also have, we have the text messages here. Then we have another one where it says, this note means so much to me. I'm excited to start tomorrow, but it's only one piece of the journey we started months ago, and I'm grateful for all we've built so far. Thank you for caring so much and for putting every bit of you into showing it. You have given so much of your time and fight for great, and that hasn't gone unappreciated or unseen for a moment. So this says like from Blake Lively to Justin Baldoni. It basically has like was a participant, delivered, saying read, played. So all these court documents and stuff in here that's going to the U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York. Where in here was he being problematic? Where are those texts? So then it also says, Lively continued to express her warm appreciation and respect for Baldoni as filming continued, even as she acknowledged she could be difficult and critical of others, using the kind of language she herself would have alleged to be inappropriate. So it says, I'm not going to tell you, well, Justin said, I'm not going to tell you, because he's in the blue, that you were amazing because you tease me for being so sentimental, but you were amazing today. And she wrote, thank you. I do appreciate it. I'm just a ball buster, but it means a lot to me. I care a great deal, and I always want to deliver. You were terrific. I'm proud of everything we did today, but really every day. And then Justin goes, love the comment, said, thank you. I do appreciate it. I'm just a ball bust, and then just said thank you. So they had a bit of a decorum and a little banterization going on. So it just seems like that, based off of what we're reading, there was no drama going on between them. But then again, there's three sides to a story. There's her side, there's his side, and there's the truth, and somewhere in between. And I do feel like a lot of people feel that because of the way Blake Lively has come across in the past of being a ball buster, and also how she's been difficult with some of her co-stars, and also how she and Ryan have this thing in common where they've hunched a couple of their co-stars whenever they've appeared in a movie or a TV show, not together, but separate. And I do believe that Blake and Ryan met on a set. That's how they ended up getting together and getting married. So a lot of times things happen and stuff on set. I'm not trying to say that maybe, or maybe there is some truth to that, with her getting with doing this movie, maybe there was some flirtation between her and Justin. It doesn't seem like there kind of was. It just seemed like that they had like this playful banter towards each other. So at what point, where did it go all wrong? Because if y'all both have like this sort of thing where he busts your balls and you're a ball buster back, where there did he overstep his boundary to make you feel uncomfortable as you claim in your lawsuit? So it just seems like that the text messages are kind of telling it all. And Blake, you might not walk away scot-free with this. This is why I was like, you know what? People need to have a little more decorum when they're on these sets and realize what people's boundaries are. Because once upon a time, when you were going on sets, people could just kind of be fruitful and fancy free in regards of how they come across towards other people. But it seems like these days, a lot of times, depending on oh, we had like this fun banter together, and you're kind of like, oh, you're kind of like a guy in the way you kind of go do the self-deprecating humor. It's like, well, sometimes you might push it a bit too far, and then you're looking at it as like, well, I'm not here for this situation. And then it becomes ugly. But I truly believe that maybe there's some truth to those screenshots, that carousel of screenshots that I did in the last show, well, it was a couple of shows ago, where Candace Owens was spilling tea, that she knows somebody on the inside who believes that maybe a shift changed in this whole situation because Ryan Reynolds he has a jealous streak and didn't like this rapport that they had with each other. He didn't like that Blake was getting a little too cozy with Justin Baldoni. I'm not saying it was a sexual thing, because Justin is probably, the way he's coming across, is very faithful to his wife. But a lot of these people in Hollywood can be very insecure. And especially when you look at Ryan Reynolds and you stand him next to a Justin Baldoni. And I'm not saying that Ryan Reynolds isn't attractive, because he is a good looking guy, but you ain't Justin Baldoni hot. You don't have smoldering good looks, the dark wavy hair, the smoldering eyes, that sort of thing. So what they're basically saying is that Justin Baldoni and his lawyer may hope that the latest stunt will get ahead of the damaging evidence against him. But they also said that there's a video apparently that's saying it's damning. Her legal team shared in a statement with DailyMail.com. So yeah, so we have to play both sides and not just make it seem like we got to be one-sided over here. So they also said it was reported hours later that Lively and Reynolds had asked the court to slap a protective order on Baldoni's lawyers to stop them making harassing and retaliatory comments to the media. Now, sources close to Friedman said he'd oppose the takedown because it's grossly unfair to bar Baldoni from putting his side in the public. And here's the thing. I do agree that, sis, you decided to go to the New York Times to present your side of the story and to paint this narrative of Justin Baldoni, which immediately, and this is what I hate about a lot of this part of the industry, this knee-jerk reaction, we all decide to go, well, believe women, and we should believe women, but let's cancel him. Let's drop him from all his, his agencies or his publicists, some of these other people. Let's start dropping them. Let's fire him. Let's remove all the projects that we have coming up with Justin Baldoni. Let's all just burn them, throw them away. He's no longer attached. It's guilty before proven innocent because we got to believe women. And it's Blake Lively, and she's married to Ryan Reynolds, and she's Mary Poppins, perfect in every way. We should be able to listen to all sides and do an investigation before we come to the knee-jerk reaction, which y'all do too much in a lot of these businesses, and that's all because of this Me Too stuff. And Me Too serves its purpose in a lot of ways, but I feel like a lot of people don't know how to react whenever controversy comes into the fold. Y'all react too damn quickly and be quick to try to take away somebody's livelihood based off a hearsay. So she went and did a whole situation over at the New York Times. And if that's the launching pad of what you're going to do, if that's what you're going to do in that situation, if you're going to, launch the situation, I'm trying to find the proper word, but if the minute you decide to go and that be your entrance and doing what you got to do, you can't be mad that he's got to, play defense in your offense. So it's like, yeah, you decide to go and take an ad out. Now I'm gonna come out with my arsenal of weapons and take your ass down. Just because you are a powerful woman with a powerful husband doesn't mean that you're gonna be able to just take little old me down and just get away with it and destroy my livelihood and my career. This thing that I worked hard for. And they also said, so I can wrap this up, that the reason why that he filed a $400 million lawsuit, why he decided on that number specifically, is because that is what is believed to be their combined net worth. So yeah, we've been talking about this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni story ad nauseum. It is something that we continuously talk about. And it seemed like until this trial date comes, which I believe they did say that a trial date has been set, I am not necessarily sure what the date is. But until that date comes, because I didn't really look at the article when it said that, I was like, I've just been so engulfed with a lot of Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively drama that I really didn't specifically lock in the date. But anyway, so I'm sure it's sometime in 2025. And until that day comes, I'm sure there'll be a lot more stuff that's going to be coming out about these two and their messy situation, which is pretty much, even though that this movie that they did, It Ends With Us, is such a huge hit, I feel like the drama has overshadowed the film. So whatever your thoughts on this situation, I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know in the comments down below. Okay. Oh, you said, Justin Baldoni is grasping at straws. Those texts are not even anything. He wants to bring her down so badly. Notice how new things keep coming out because he has nothing. Well, that's what I said. In the court of law, that's where y'all got to prove that on both of y'all sides. If he takes those texts as flirty, that's the proof right there that he has absolutely no boundaries or understanding of how to have a positive professional relationship. Especially, look, he did say that didn't he have a sex addiction or something when he was growing up? That he had watched Rounds with Corn at a young age. So there could be some proof to that. And then, yeah, that to me, when I read that, I'm like, there's not really anything regarding flirting. Like, it just seemed like y'all were just giving each other compliments. And y'all just had like this brother sister type of banter with each other. It didn't feel like anything remotely sexual or flirtatious. Like, I flirted with people in a text. That ain't how I. Well, I could be a little more vulgar with what I got to say, but I would expect that's what you would kind of get with that. That's not flirting. That's what he's thinking for. So, hope you got a good chiropractor for that reach, sir. Researching how the administration is going to handle the press room. The Trump administration is going to improve the news media and work with the independent media like Brett. But yeah, it's only going to be people who are in lockstep and agree with him and him only. That's why a lot of the other media is just playing ball and going with whatever and not challenging him, because they're going to end up in a situation somebody gets fired. So they're not going to push back, which is why I love the fact that we have a lot of independent media on YouTube and other places who are willing to stand up and let us know what's going on. course, I hate to say it, it's going to be Newsmax, Fox News, and CNN and MSNBC is out, and only conservative media only, which I don't know why this is not a problem. Why are people not ringing the alarm? And look, CNN's trying to play ball with Trump. DC still not inviting them in. It is going to show that regardless of what they do, he doesn't want y'all in the situation, which is why I feel like CNN, maybe you need to go back to really going in on him. If he's not going to allow y'all to come to the press briefings, just find out what's going on, what tea they spilling, what is being aired on these things, and speak on it. But then again, they might try to edit around certain things. Like I heard NBC News got dragged for editing out Elon Musk doing the Sig House salute versus the other footage that came out, and they got dragged online for that. People said, well, Blake Lively did actually hurt the New York Times, perhaps it's the end of the New York Times. Might be, and New York Times ain't been credible for a while. They did sue to oblivion, which means bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, okay, so we have 4 more topics left in today's show. Now, before we get to those 4 topics, if you can, please do me a solid. If you have not already, hit that like button and a subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Atwell Unfiltered. Definitely helps with the algorithm and pushing out the show to get more eyes on this show and more cointadas in my pocket. Please and thank you. Okay, so now without further ado, let's talk about Miss Britney, who her ex-husband, the Traitors star, Sam Asghari, is pretty much going in and opening up about their relationship, which I didn't think he was going to be able to do, because I always thought that she may have made him sign an NDA and we wouldn't be able to find out anything about the relationship. I mean, he did mention Britney a couple of times on the Traitors. But funny enough, like I said before, a lot of people weren't even familiar when I saw like interviews about the cast of The Traitor. They said they had no idea who Sam even was. So they said the 30-year-old actor. Well, I was like, what's going on? Why is this picture blurry? Hold on. Thank you. It's like, what's going on with Miss Britney and Sam? Now it says according to the Mirror, because they had this story, and it said the 30-year-old actor who initially thought he might be overwhelmed by fame found that the complexities of Britney's conservatorship were the most challenging part of their relationship. This comes as he shared a marriage with the Princess of Pop from 2022 to 2024 after originally meeting on set of one of her music videos. That would be Slumber Party, to be specific. Now, speaking on Kate and Oliver Hudson's Sibling Revelry podcast, Sam admitted one of the hardest things I think to deal with when you go into entertainment is your parents and the people around you and everything that happens and everybody that comes into your life that's taken advantage, that damages you because those are the people that are closest to you. He also reflected on the vulnerability of those in one's inner circle, saying, usually the people that are around you, the people that you allow into your circle, you kind of are vulnerable to them. On the detrimental effects of these close relationships, he added, they take an advantage because they think you owe something to them or something, which is so ridiculous. That was the most difficult excuse me, and weird spiral thing that I've witnessed in my life ever. So I was like, yeah, you have all these people that surround you, and it's like, oh, well, I helped you get your career, or maybe it could be family members that he's talking about. That was like, oh, well, yeah, we sacrificed so much to give you the career that you wanted. You owe us a lifestyle that we should be accustomed to. You owe us millions of dollars. But I said, but wait a minute, I'm the one that had to get up and perform in front of that executive to get that record deal. I'm the one that had to go and become the biggest pop star at the time in the 2000s, in the 90s and late 90s and 2000s. I'm the one that had to go up in there and do all the work. Yeah, y'all sacrificing. You had people, first of all, quiet as it's kept. Lynn wasn't really out there traveling much. She had her child, one of her friends from back in Louisiana, Felicia Collada, out there as being Britney Guardian. So these family members who's thinking that they have an entitlement, or friends or whoever that she had in her inner circle thinking that they're entitled to her stuff, you're not entitled to anything. You may be on the payroll and you help me do whatever. And in so many ways, I know some people wouldn't find this right, But publishing, people who help put money into you to develop you into the pop star that you are, and they always forever get a percentage of that because they developed you. I don't mind paying a percentage of that money because it's like you helped me become the biggest star that I am today. So if I have to give you a 10% cut or whatever, how much it is, I don't think there's going to be anything higher than 10%. I don't feel no ways tired about it. But all you other vultures that's in my situation, it's like, hell no, y'all got to go. If you're not doing that for me, I don't owe you a goddamn thing, especially if you're not on the payroll. And so, yeah, it could be shocking to hear this. And I know some people think like he's a vulture and he's, money hungry, whatever the case is. I never got that from Sam. I feel like that he genuinely cared for her. And Britney has always seemed like she was one of those sweetheart type women that has always had herself surrounded by the wrong people. And I wish that she would be able to find her way out of that space of not trusting people, never wanting to perform again because so many people who took advantage of her just destroyed the thing that she loved. She loved getting out there performing and dancing and that sort of thing. And she was trying to find that balance of being that Southern, you know, down home type of girl who just so happens that the job was being the big pop star and selling sex, dancing, and getting people to sing along to her songs. I do feel like that it was a thing for Britney that she was playing a persona, she was playing a character, kind of like Madonna does. Whenever she comes and has her era, she, you know, plays that character until that era is done. Then she goes and throws it into the storage, and then she goes about her life. And I think Britney was trying to find that balance, but the problem is she was never able to do that. She was surrounded by the wrong, some vultures, the wrong people. And a lot of times when it comes down to trust, not a lot of people have that good instinct, especially when you're a sweet Southern girl. There's people going to take your kindness for weakness. So I was actually glad that Sam said something nice about her. I mean, I guess that's all he could pretty much say. He can't go too deep into the situation, but he could talk about like some of the things he witnessed in that way. And I almost said the name wrong because it was like sibling rival. I almost said sibling rivalry, which is I was like, do y'all got permission from Bob and Monet to use that title? But it's sibling rivalry, and Kate and Oliver Hudson, who are the children of Goldie Hawn, and I don't think they're not Kurt Russell's children because that was from a previous relationship. He is Wyatt with Goldie, but Goldie had Kate Hudson and her brother Oliver from a previous relationship, and they got a podcast together. I'm like, damn, everybody out here got a podcast. So I love the fact that he said, you know what, they'll hold on to the love. They have a love and mutual respect for each other, and he wishes her the best. He's moved on. He's got himself a new girlfriend. Britney's out here doing what Britney does. And what I'm curious about is that for them being together for 6 years, 2 years out of those 6 years being husband and wife, what really caused them to kind of go their separate ways? So I'm genuinely curious. It's like, why did y'all divorce? If y'all have like this mutual love and respect for each other. So whatever your thoughts are on this situation and what Sam had to say, let me know in the comments down below. Okay. It said 15 Navajo Nation members wrongly detained by ICE during immigration raids. And first of all, yeah, these people should know y'all cannot go on indigenous land and start rounding up people. And it's funny how it's like y'all don't even understand how this works. So this kind of worries me because I have a lot of indigenous family members like that live on reservations and stuff. So are y'all gonna be trying to invade the Poospatuck Indian Reservation, which is where my family is from? Which my family isn't there now. My grandmother, my mother, and my sister are currently in in California at my uncle's funeral. I wasn't able to go because I had another engagement. So I was like, send me my love, my uncle / godfather. So send my love and all this other stuff. Hence why it's dark and y'all don't see me with a ring light because I don't have it with me. So I'm using the overhead light, doing what I got to do to bring y'all this show. But I have everything else. I got my camera, I got my laptop, my mic. I borrowed that, so I just couldn't bring all the other extra stuff. And yeah, so that's crazy to hear that y'all just round up everybody that y'all think. And yes, a lot of indigenous people do. Well, they are kind of in the category of like maybe Mexican, that sort of thing. So people are so goddamn stupid. And the one thing us natives do have is our papers. It's a time for the homosexual news. Well, we're about to get into some of that after this, but you trying to lump Sam into that? With my long hair and tan skin, I always get confused with being native. Never knew any specifics of my tribe's history. Yeah, it was funny enough. My mother gave me a whole book on the Uncle Chug tribe, which is part of where my family is. My mother's side. It's funny. It's like we have that, and then also it's like my, I have a from my mother's side. It's like Native American, Filipino, Spaniard. This is a whole hodgepodge of mixerization going on up in there. So, let's move on. And let's talk about Lady Gaga, who was speaking out. We saw my Trump earlier. I guess we're going to talk about him again. So she did a recent interview in Elle magazine, and she said that she prayed that President Trump wouldn't win a second term in office, but she said she will continue to speak out in defense of the LGBTQ plus community. And I gotta say, it must be real awkward during Thanksgiving and Christmas at the Germanata household because her father voted for you know who, while she didn't. I guess we're assuming that Gaga voted for Kamala. So, yes. Now, in a new Elle interview, which took place 6 days after the result of the American election were announced, the singer, who's 38, reflected on the reaction to Donald Trump stepping into the role as the 45th president of the United States. She said, "What's bizarre is I did not write this album thinking that this would happen. I prayed it would not. But here we are," the poker face hitmaker said ahead of the release of her seventh record, Mayhem, which is due out on March 7th. And sidebar, shout out to Mayhem Miller, who posted a picture of her face in the whole Lady Gaga album cover. Geesh, that was a cackle because, the gay gods in the meme world, they was making their little mayhem jokes in regards of Lady Gaga and this upcoming album. So she continued and said, "The main thing is I have so much compassion and love for so many people that are afraid today. I want to acknowledge I'm a very blessed person and I feel really grateful for that much in my life every day." And the 13-time Grammy winner who endorsed Kamala, okay, so she did endorse Kamala because we knew she was doing Jill Stein, who endorsed Kamala Harris, went on to note that she knows for a lot of people this election was devastating for the existence, and so community is going to be the number one thing. And I also think that resisting and fighting is what we're going to have to do too. You can't just sit around and just let this man just beat us down and just be like, "Oh, yeah, we're feeling hopeless. There's nothing we can do." It's just like, you know what? Take them knocks, bob and weave, like you in the ring with the boxer, like you Sugar Ray Leonard, or maybe even Floyd Mayweather. I know I'm dating myself a little bit with Sugar Ray Leonard, but Muhammad Ali. Well, Muhammad Ali was way before my time. So was Sugar Ray Leonard, but I'm aware of boxers because I grew up watching boxing from my father, and so who's a huge boxing fan. So just bob and weave in and out of the net and then you gotta, you come swinging back, and that's what we literally have to do in regards of this whole situation because we're all feeling down and out, we're all feeling a little disoriented, and shouting up in here saying I was like looking for something on Twitter, and they talking about impeach Trump. I'm like, well, it's a little too late for that. Because y'all tried doing that. But, you had all these Congress people dragging their damn feet. Oh, I got sidetracked because I was looking for this other story that I wanted to bring up in regards to talking about Madonna, because there was something I wanted to bring up about that. Yeah, I totally forgot I was supposed to bring up that Madonna story. I knew there was something I was supposed to bring up in regards of the Lady Gaga story and the Madonna story with her doing the stand-up comedy. I guess I'll save that for tomorrow because I already have the topics locked in. But anyway, so this just reminds me that we need each other, and supporting each other is important. I am one of many people that supports the LGBTQIA plus and other marginalized communities, and we're not going down without a fight. The Joker Foley Doo star, born Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanata, And she got a lot of names, but I guess that's what you get when you're Italian. The Italians and the Hispanics, you know, they all stay with like 5,000 damn names before we get to your last name. And they said, we will stick together. It's going to be hard, but I'm up for it. We're up for it. And I just want everyone to know how deeply they're loved and not invisible. Now, Gaga, an outspoken Democrat, also revealed that she plans on making a difference, or how she plans on making a difference. She said that means reaching out to the people that I love, being available, understanding that what I'm going through is very different from so many people that I care about. That's been important for me. Yes, I'm devastated, but what does it mean for me versus someone else? The performer noted that she plans on continuing her work supporting grassroots communities and using her platform to speak out as she always has. It says, maybe because I've been doing this since I was 20, I realized that what you say publicly from a big microphone is sometimes just as powerful as what you say in private. You are who you are in the public facing eye is who you want to be when no one's looking. I'm glad she kind of came to this revelation because you want to know something? This is something like Madonna has said something earlier in regards to Donald Trump, and I'm going to stitch all this together because when she goes and says, like, you know what, reaching out to people, being available, understanding that what I'm going through is very different than what so many people that I care about are dealing with. I'm glad she said that because there was somebody earlier that tried to come the queen as an Donta and said the following. When she was up in here and posted this picture, looking good, by the way, I love that coat. And she said, it's so sad to watch our new government slowly dismantling all the freedoms we have been fighting for and won over the years, and has a broken heart and a, how you doing, homosexual flag. And said, don't give up the fight. And somebody went and said, how do you want to say he's restoring common sense? Well, clearly you're a fucking idiot. Your name is Rafael De Leon. I say somebody come and get him, make sure he's illegal. Cause y'all talking about y'all getting deported, but then all of a sudden y'all want us to come and support y'all and be there for you because y'all people is getting taken away. I don't feel no waste time, as I like to say. And they said one person said Trump has crushed everything you spent years working for in 8 days. Yeah, it be like that sometimes. But somebody tried to say, oh, what when it comes down to the situation, is that what is she dealing with that's a struggle that she could that's relatable to what everybody else is going through. So Madonna being a woman in the music industry and how she had to while she was someone who wasn't born, unlike Elon Musk and Donald Trump, a silver spoon in her mouth, she had to build her wealth. It wasn't passed to her from her family. She's from a working class family in Michigan who moved to New York to become the biggest pop star on the planet. So for you to sit there and say, well, what can you relate to? Regardless of how much money you have, at the end of the day, there are some people who are not all caught up in the bubble, that they do have empathy and understand what a lot of regular people are dealing with. Especially like when we're talking about with Lady Gaga and what she's saying. Reaching out to people that she loves, being available, understanding that even that what she's going through is very different from what many people that she cares about is going through. So yeah, just because my net worth is different from yours doesn't necessarily mean that me as a woman and or the children that I'm raising aren't going to be affected by, or people that I know who have children of color, girls, especially when you got people up in here dealing with talking about trying to control your reproductive rights, what they're dealing with, what they're struggling, what they're going through. Why do people always think, and it's always the wrong people, the people that you defend wouldn't spit on your ass if you was on fire, a Elon Musk and a Trump. Y'all will defend them to the ends of the earth because it's that sad part of y'all as human beings who clearly y'all ain't get enough hugs as a child. Your parents didn't tell you they loved you enough. So y'all go out here trying to seek approval from people who, as I said just a couple of seconds before, wouldn't spit on you if you was on fire. So there's that. So it's sad. So it's crazy how I have to break this down because some of y'all be so damn dumb in the comments that y'all thinking y'all be eating with your little snide remarks. Whatever, child. So shout out to Lady Gaga. Um, I'm definitely looking forward to this era that she's coming out with in regards of, what is that? The Mayhem album that's supposed to be coming out in March. Definitely looking forward to hearing it. I'm still curious as to, because it shows that if you look on the thing, the book ends of Disease is the opener, Die with a Smile is the closer, and then we have all these other songs. The first, apparently, I heard like the other 12 songs have pretty much have leaked on the internet. I don't know if it's the actual set list, but we'll see when the full album track list comes out, and I'll compare both and see like, okay, well, somebody apparently got a hold of it and spilled your tea, sis. So I said to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to what Lady Gaga had to say? And I do agree that, you may be feeling down and out right now. You may not like both sides, and you might feel like two sides of the, politics, Democrats and Republicans are of the same bird. And to an extent, that is true. Republicans could be a little more extreme, but I feel like they're both just as bad. We got a long way to go to clean up the mess that we have in our government. But yeah, if we're not liking what this man has basically is rolling back everything that a lot of us have worked hard for, and then you got dummies that's in the comments who's okay with this. But I'm like, okay, so if you are illegal, or if you got family members that get deported, and you sit here applauding what this man is doing, and until it affects you, and you okay with it until it affects something on your side, I don't want to hear nothing. You're going to deal with it like the rest of us. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Robert says his Icona Pop giveaway package arrived. I need to start listening to the album again. Everything Gaga says kind of said. No, well, definitely no shade taken, because I was kind of thinking that when I was in my head. That it does feel very much like, yeah, it sounds like you trying to say all the right things because you were like, yeah, Gaga, we're rooting for you. We can't wait. And it's like, girl, don't only pipe up because you got new music coming. Oh, it's Merrick Garland. Most of the gay icons are actually quiet because it sounds, wait, what does that say? Oh, it's saying, I get the identity politics, but I'm not here to make straight people comfortable. And we shouldn't. I've been saying that. That's been like the mantra I've been going about for a long time. I don't give a damn about trying to make your ass comfortable. I'm ordering the CD version as it has a 15th bonus track. Oh, wait, you're actually getting a Lady Gaga album? I'm shocked I did. So it has a bonus track, but I'm sure it'll end up on one of the digital situations. We'll see when it comes out. I was like, what am I looking for? Did I close something? I sure did. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I was looking for something else. Oh, yeah, I know what I did. I was opening up the video, and I think I forgot to scroll up. So now I'm good. All right, so let's talk about NLE Choppa, who is defending his shoot in Playgirl magazine. So NLE Choppa raised quite a few eyebrows, as y'all saw, with his Playgirl photo shoot, and had to address some people who apparently felt like that he was out here in these streets queer baiting, which, no shade, I honestly did not feel like that's what he was doing. But that's what y'all was out here saying he was doing. But let's continue. So now on Sunday, Choppa issued a direct response to someone claiming he was gay baiting, arguing that he was simply showing freedom by being comfortable and confident, comfortable in my skin. So he said, never been gay baiting. It's me showing freedom. Anything nowadays is called gay or it's baiting. In reality, I'm comfortable enough and have the utmost confidence in how a good God designed me head to toe. Call me what you want, but a straight man comfortable in my skin, I am. And he goes, it was a fist pump emoji. So somebody wrote the gay baiting is seriously out of control. But I feel like, are you a homosexual who feels like that's what this is? And since when is posing for Playgirl magazine considered queer baiting? Is it because of the outfit he's wearing? And I heard someone also say this, that why is it that NLE Choppa is not getting the same kind of backlash as a Lil Nas X or a Saucy Santana, who have worn provocative looking clothes and stuff like this? And I don't know, maybe the answers to that is some people feel that NLE Choppa is somebody they want to have sex with. But I'm like, so nobody wants to have sex with Lil Nas X? I think Lil Nas X is attractive. He's of age, I can say that. I ain't trying to fuck nobody saucy. But um not that big bag. But when we're talking about NLE Choppa, I think the reason why people are saying that is because a lot of you gays, you self-hating gays, homosexuals, as I like to say, likes to go in and y'all get into this whole self-hating situation where y'all always want to run around trying to get that straight boy or trying to turn somebody out or get that trade. Me, I'm sorry, I am way too comfortable in my homosexualness to be wanting to run around trying to hunt some straight boy. I don't find nothing attractive about trying to sleep with a self-identifying straight boy. A lot of y'all don't even wipe y'all ass right or correctly, I should say. So anyway, hell, I'm trying to get out here and trying to turn somebody out. I don't see no pleasure in doing that, and I don't understand people that try to go in these whole situations where y'all be up in here trying to do that your damn self. So yeah, there was a couple of the tweets where he said this. If y'all saw that one, that was the one I had read. And then there was this one where it was like, where he said, was it Bryson LaShawn Potts NLE Choppa? I guess that's his actual real name. And yeah, there's the Playgirl cover, but also there's a video that I saw that he posted on his Twitter. We were talking about it. It's 5.5 minutes. There's no way in hell I'm playing all of that for y'all, but I just want to give y'all a taste of what he had to say in regards of the queer baiting. But sir, it is really becoming hard for me to defend you when you're addressing the queer baiting allegations while you're in the bathroom, butt naked, drying yourself off with a towel. So I've been trying to come out here and defend you in your situation, but it becomes real hard when it do feel like that. That's what you be up in here doing. So let's get to that clip and then we'll talk. Please hold.
Even funny fuck. So, but I really don't care, and that's what I think. That's the problem. I like think I don't care so much that it take away from that. It's like a disconnect. It's like since I don't care so much and I know who I am so much, it's like people tend to feel like I just feel like narratives get painted because I don't care so much. So I just want to clear the narrative for a small bit. But do not say that I'm a gay bear because I'm comfortable enough to show off the perfection that God has orchestrated over my physical, my mental, my spiritual, and even my emotions. I am not a gay baiter because I post a selfie in the mirror showing off how beautiful I am. I am not a gay baiter if I post a picture showing off how much God has blessed me from below the waist with something that got women going crazy.
Okay, so I think y'all pretty much got the hint. And it ain't just the women that's going crazy because the gays is out here saying that you queer baiting. So it ain't the women. Or maybe there is some women out here because you know a lot of you big bags be the first ones up in the comments over there at the neighborhood talk in the shade room. And a lot of those ones that always want to flare around, oh yeah, he gay, or he this, or he that. What is wrong with men being looking good, being confident? Y'all want somebody out here with swamp ass and ashiness on their elbows and their knees? Like, I don't think so. I think men and dirty ass fingernail beds. It's like, no, y'all, some of y'all, men should be able to take care of themselves and their hygiene. You should be walking around here smelling like, you know, Donald Trump, because word on the curb is he stink too. But as wide as his back is, I wouldn't be surprised. So he also confessed that, look, he would walk out of his hotel naked if it did not lead to an arrest. So clearly he is someone who is comfortable, as in the words of Beyonce, comfortable in my skin. He's cozy. Cozy. So now he also addressed questions regarding his sexuality in the past, as we know, because we've talked about it quite a few times on this show, and consistently revisited the same talking point that he simply loves himself. Say, I understand me being in love with myself as a black man is so rare to the point that some people try putting the homosexual jacket on my name. The Memphis native, this is what he wrote on Twitter following the release of Slut Me Out Too, which I do love that song. That song, and I'm tired of y'all hating on Sexy Red and that song she got with Bruno Mars. That is actually my new song of 2025. So y'all need to stop hating on that. All the other songs Miss Chlamydia Barbie put out, we can hate on them. But don't hate on this song with her and Bruno Mars. I don't know how we got into that. I guess because talking about Slut Me Out. But I love a script of anthem. So then he added, but with all due respect, I love all, but my intimacy lies with women only. So he has pretty much told y'all, I love women, but I am open-minded enough that I appreciate the LGBTQ community. He also, from what I believe, has a gay brother. So he is very much open-minded in that part. So y'all want him to be out here hating on the gays? Y'all want him out here calling y'all all types of sissies, punks, and arrogants? Y'all want him to do that? Would that make y'all feel better? So let him do what he's doing. It ain't no worse than the people over there at the Wild Podcast. Now that's some damn queer baiting. And they kind of openly admit that it's like, oh yeah, because they know that's where they get their bread and butter and their money. Them white men out there be looking at these little boys who do the bare minimum with their content. And I just heard they won at the gay VNs because they was standing up in there with their little awards happy. They go down to West Hollywood asking they stupid questions off their phone about who, if you a top or a bottom, what it feel like to have a dick up your ass. And I feel like if y'all care so damn much, why don't you put one up your butt? You might do, make a good coin in your damn OnlyFans. So why don't we take those conversations over to them and stop always coming after NLE Choppa? Because here's the thing. I actually like the fact that we finally have someone within the Black community, him and Tank, who show nothing but love to the gay community, who come to our Pride events and perform and show love and don't just be up in there for a check and low-key call us all types of sissies, punks, and faggots while clearing a damn check performing at Pride, which some of y'all faves actually have done. So we need to get to a place where we could be a little more open-minded in allowing people of color, especially Black people, to be a little more open-minded when it comes to our community and stop that self-hating stuff with us. And live and let live. And stop always trying to put a label on something because you like what you see in this boy and you feel like the only way that you can compartmentalize and process NLE Choppa, who's comfortable in who he is that you have to say he's gay. Which that word is thrown around a little too damn loose. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding NLE Choppa basically saying that he's not a gay baiter? He's not using the community for a check. And look, that seems to be the only community that's giving him a lot of attention because I don't really know if his music outside of that circle is really popping. But I'm at least glad that we have an ally in the community, unlike some of these other artists who won't even step foot in our situations because they may get painted with this same type of accusation brush. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have comments. I read an honest comment. But you said I was gagged when you started talking about Madonna during Gaga topic. Well, it'd be like that sometimes. You said it definitely didn't start off as baited, but I can't imagine a woman getting off to those pics of him. And plus, you want to know something? Playgirl ain't what it used to be. Playgirl used to actually have the show peen up in there. Like, I miss the days of when my friend Daniel Nardicio actually used to run that magazine. He don't do it no more because he's busy, starting new business ventures. He's down in Mexico right now working on a clothing optional resort. So that's what he's down there doing. He said if anybody was interested in getting in on it, I might give it a gander. I'm like, ooh, can I move down to Mexico and do this show from there? But then again, Trump trying to talk about he want to look at Mexico as being like this people, when it come down to the Mexican drug cartel and having them labeled as like terrorists, so that way he could put boots on the ground and drop bombs on them things. So I'm like, I hope none of that start happening. But anyway, so he's over doing that. He got Red Eye in Midtown Manhattan, which I just saw a friend of mine actually perform there. Andy Cohen's ex actually did his podcast there. I tell you, it's always like 6 degrees of somebody I know. And then he also has, shows out in Fire Island, which he takes care of, like the Ice Palace and all that stuff. He got all that going on, but that time is going to come out and when, like March, April, I think is when they start up the whole Fire Island roundup again. So he said Playgirl magazine is the one with men on the cover, so they'll assume he's baiting to men. Playboy is the one with women on. Yeah, Playgirl, is always quiet as it's kept. Women ain't really out here buying. Look, because who was it that said it? And that would have been a good thing to add to that topic. Dan Benson, who y'all know played Zeke on Wizards of Waverly Place, just did a video the other day where he was talking about, is it gay baiting because he makes adult cinematography as a straight man specifically for gay men. And he said the reason why he does it is because he makes money from men. Women do not buy his content. Women do not subscribe to his OnlyFans. Men subscribe to it. So men like living that fantasy of seeing him do stuff. And I have seen Dan insert things into his his yes hole. Because I'm gonna say no hole. That'd be for the tops, the strict tops. They call that a no hole. The yes hole is like when some people like some little pleasure between me down there. So yeah, he's done some things where he's playing with himself, but he says he loves women. And to me, I feel like if you know where your moneymaker is and you're selling a fantasy and you're actually using your acting skills to now do adult stuff, I don't see it as a bad thing if you're specifically making content for the community. Some people may call that queer baiting. I don't think that's what it is. Especially if your predominant base is men buying your content, I don't see why that should be a problem. So yeah, Playgirl, once upon a time, they was showing stuff, and he was the one that got Bristol Palin, ex baby daddy Levi to get on the cover. Digging our DCO is what I'm telling y'all. They said many will complain, but will thirst after him. Exactly. This is an exhausting situation. What the hell? How Tom Dwelling got arrested? What he do? I know y'all not trying to say he's not legal. As wide as his golf courses. Okay, that back. Yeah, Tom from Smallville. Tom Welling. Not Tom Welling. What did Clark do? Not what did Clark did. Hold on, let me see what he did. Smallville start. Oh, it's a DUI, bitch. I should be laughing. But you know what? I'm going to save this. This is going to be a topic for tomorrow. No, y'all don't have no pictures of Romeo Beckham up in here practically naked on TMZ. It said Romeo Beckham versus Vinny Hacker. Who'd you rather? Tatted edition. Well, I don't know who this Vinny Hacker is, but I wouldn't kick them both out of bed. Oh, damn, he looks a little rough. They got the mugshot and everything. Hold on. Let me show y'all. I shouldn't be laughing. But wait, no, that's not the video file. Somebody save him. Yeah, so that's the mugshot. Wait, hold on. Let me scroll on down the road. So that way y'all could get a better photo. Yeah, that's the mugshot of Tom Welling. But anyway, yeah, I'll probably save that story we'll talk about it tomorrow. I can make it a full topic. You said if he's genuine and he doesn't pull a Nick Jonas, then don't even get me started on the whole Nick Jonas thing. He got stopped by the DUI. No, why? He said, not that I went to, bitch. First of all, you in the next room messaging. That's funny. He said, not that I went for a walk to get a loofah. They didn't have it. Didn't realize I stole. Not you out here stealing air freshener. Him getting arrested for DUI seems so out of character for him. I don't even. I don't ever hear him getting into mess. I wonder what happened to cause this. Well, Tom ain't really been working. That's probably what it is. So he ain't been working in a month of Sundays. Maybe that's what it is. He's stressed. He's stressed out. So I'll have to see, I have to dig deeper into that story and then we'll talk about it on tomorrow's show. And I have to remember to bring the Madonna one because that would have been a good transition to go from Madonna to Gaga or Gaga to Madonna. But I did kind of do a Madonna transition in a Gaga story. I know the monster's probably gonna be mad. Like, damn, y'all always find a way to insert Madonna into and did. Oh, so, hold on. Oh, you said Vinny Hager is the Leonardo Brad of my generation, except he's not an actor, but the girls engaged lust thrust over. Well, he is good. I was like looking at him, I was like, who that with all them tattoos? I wouldn't throw him out of bed. He better be of age though, because I ain't trying to get accused out here in these streets like I'm academics. No, I was just looking at a picture of him on TMZ. And Onyx just explained to you who he is, sir. So anyway. Let's get to our final topic since we've been talking about docu-series and things all day. Well, previously. But apparently what on the curb is Paul Reubens in the final documentary came out as a homosexual. And that is saying he came out as a homosexual beyond the grave. And there was a documentary that they did on him. I think it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, and it's called Pee Wee as Himself. So right now, it does not have a distributor, but it was shown at the Sundance Film Festival, and people were saying that it got a standing ovation. Like it's a lot of it's basically a good movie. So better known for his broad smile and silly voices, Pee Wee Herman actor Paul Reubens becomes royally emotional in the documentary Pee Wee as Himself, which premiered last Thursday night at the Sundance Film Festival. The revealing two-part movie, which will eventually, so it does have a distributor, that was my fault. It will eventually air on HBO, features the final interviews with Reubens, who died of cancer in July of 2023 at age 70. Now, director Matt Wolf sat with the funny actor for 40 hours over the course of a year to reflect on his life as a closeted homosexual man with his showbiz career and agonizing sex scandals. The moving doc, because I don't want y'all thinking I said movie. The moving doc also includes the last audio recording Reubens made on the day before his death, saying more than anything, the reason I wanted to make a documentary was for people to see who I really am and how painful and dreadful it was to be labeled something I wasn't, he said in a weak voice, to be labeled a pariah, to have people be scared of you or untrusting. Now, the movie also gave ailing Reubens a chance to tell his side of things. Earlier in the film, the actor who had kept his cancer diagnosis quiet said, "Death is just so final. To be able to get your message in at the last minute at some point is incredible." Born in Peekskill, New York, Reubens never publicly came out of the closet, but the doc reveals that well before Pee Wee became a worldwide sensation, the actor had a boyfriend named Guy from Echo Park in Los Angeles, whose humorous vocal tics were the vital inspiration for the comedian's defining character. Guy had a bit where he'd say things like, buttery, in a Yoda-like brogue. You can see where that led me. This is where Reubens says. Now, Reubens debuted Pee Wee Herman while performing with comedy troupe The Groundlings in 1981. And when his Pee Wee stage show exploded in LA, the actor chose to conceal his private life entirely. This sounds like something similar to, oh my God, Luke Evans. Because I remember at one point, Luke Evans was out of the closet as a Broadway performer because he was in Taboo. And he was out of the closet. And then when his career started to kind of blow up, he kind of went in. And then he started coming out about him. And then he came out again. So there was that. So they said, him being a part of the Groundlings, that was huge back in the day. There was a lot of famous people, famous comedians that came out of the whole Groundlings troupe. He said, I was out of the closet and then I went back in the closet, he says in the movie. I wasn't pursuing the Paul Reubens career. I was pursuing the Pee Wee Herman career. The actor went to visit Guy in the hospital as he was dying of AIDS. He said, to talk about seeing someone at death's door, he trails off. He probably died a couple of hours after that. While Reubens admits, I had many, many secret relationships, his personal life took a back seat to a gray suit and red bow tie. Pee Wee became a staple on NBC's new risk-taking talk show, Late Night with David Letterman, appearing every few months from 1982 to 1985. Those popular segments led to a sold-out national tour and impressed Hollywood execs signed off on his 1985 movie, Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Now, during the iconic tequila scene at the biker bar, Reubens came to blows with the set. They said, while I was up on the bar, I banged the hell out of my head on a beam, he said. It's the take we used. Tim Burton's first feature was a huge hit, grossing $40 million off a $6 million budget. Pee Wee was riding high, but the world was growing darker for Reubens. He said, I hid behind my alter ego. I spent my entire adult life hiding I was a huge weed head. And he was concealing something weightier. He said, I was secretive about my sexuality, even to my friends, out of self-hatred and self-preservation. I was afflicted about my sexuality, but fame was way more complicated. In 1986, CBS offered Reubens a Saturday morning, kid show, Pee Wee's Playhouse. Well, I remember that. Because remember, Lawrence Fishburne was on there. He played Cowboy Curtis. So this is the brilliant, innovative program was out of the box, quirky, and meticulously designed. Characters like Cherry, Cowboy Curtis, Jambi, and Miss Yvonne became weekend favorites. One reviewer praised Playhouse as Caligula in Kittyland. Not that reference. Caligula in Kittyland. You know what Caligula is? Listen, behind the scenes, Reubens was a demanding taskmaster. Paul had conflicts with most everyone he worked with. That was just his nature. Show designer Wayne White said in the doc, Paul could hold a grudge. He didn't forgive easily. He became estranged from Phil Hartman, who helped develop the character and played Captain Carl on Playhouse after Hartman was cast on SNL and left the show. In the doc, Reubens still speaks of their friendship breakup with bitterness decades later. He rose to the top. Good for him. I'm like, well, aren't you shady? Now the Queens are. Now, Playhouse was a massive success. And in 1988, Pee Wee, not Reubens, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. However, that same year, his film follow-up Big Top Pee Wee was a maligned flop. I went into shock, this is what he said. And soon, Reubens' life became engulfed by scandal. In 1991, this is when it really gets juicy. Because I remember this story. But I was a kid then. But we all knew about it. So in 91, Reubens was arrested and charged with indecent exposure at an adult movie theater in Sarasota, Florida. He pleaded no contest. He said, I kept who I was a secret for a very long time, he said. That really backfired when I got arrested. People had never seen a photo of me other than Pee Wee Herman, and all of a sudden, I had a Charles Manson mugshot. Well, hold on, because I got that picture too. Bam, there it is. He said, I lost control of my anonymity. It was devastating. Now, with the help of friends, Reubens got out of Sarasota without paparazzi catching him by donning fake teeth, glasses, and cutting his hair. He hid out for 2 weeks at his pal Doris Duke's home in New Jersey. It's shocking what horrible, awful stuff people think about me, Reubens says. It's still a significant footnote. 30 years later, I still feel the effects all the time. Yeah, because people need to realize, like, after that whole indecent exposure situation, his career never fully recovered from that. I remember that was like the running joke. And remember, once upon a time, he was also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie with Christy Swanson. I remember him from that too. And I did like his performance in that, especially like when she stabbed him with the stake and how it took him like 5 minutes to die and he was overdoing it. I was like, okay, that seems funny. But even though that movie was a mess, it is a guilty pleasure. The show was way better, but I thoroughly enjoyed the movie for what it is. So now to recuperate his image, excuse me, Reubens appeared as Pee Wee at the MTV VMAs that September to a euphoric reception and was a guest as himself on Conan O'Brien and The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. A crisis PR firm also staged a photo excuse me, of Reubens on a date with a woman at an LA restaurant who happened to be someone that Madonna's good friends with, Debbie Mazur, and said that they maintain a deep connection. She said, he was my boyfriend. This is what Mazur says in the documentary. I know people will say he was gay. So what? Now, in 2001, Reubens' home was raided and he was charged with possessing images that were thought to be child, rhymes with pornography. The actor, who was an enthusiastic collector of all manner of rare memorabilia, insisted the photos were vintage erotica. Some collections could be found in college libraries. The charges were dropped in 2004, and Reubens pleaded guilty to a lesser obscenity charge. But you found out they have vintage pictures of young people naked. But it said Mazur's friend David Arquette and his wife at the time, Courtney Cox, stood by Reubens throughout the ordeal. Well, trial, ordeal, same shit. Now, later, the actor's career bounced back somewhat. He starred in Pee Wee Herman's show on Broadway in 2010. The Post said the performance was like eating a huge ice cream sundae topped by a mountain of whipped cream and exploding sparklers. And in addition to small roles and voice acting, he made the film Pee Wee's Big Holiday in 2016. I was like, let's go back to another photo, and I want to leave it on the mugshot. Now, when the obscenity topic comes up in Pee Wee as himself, on-screen text reveals that Reubens stopped cooperating with Wolf and the filmmakers and never sat down for another interview. Ever the control freak, the actor harbored concerns over how his complex story would be told. But my thing is, if you're coming on as yourself and they're trying to ask you, okay, let's see it, warts and all, why don't you just come out and just give them everything? But like they said, that Paul was someone who was very difficult, meaning that he was trying to control every aspect of the perception of his career, especially when he was saying like him being a homosexual. He was ashamed, and there was a lot of self-hatred that was going on, which is why he kept that secret. And it seems like that's his go-to place for things whenever something's going on in his life, because he kept the gayness a secret, he kept his cancer diagnosis a secret, and then, to wrap up the story, it's like with him being a control freak, his health was failing. And he eventually, after that time that he took away from, he was no longer going to cooperate with the filmmakers and sit down for an interview. He actually sent like an audio message to Wolf, which basically was, and they put that in the film. That was the final thing that he said. And then right after, he died. So I think maybe that, some people will say like, okay, the universe is like, oh, we're going to keep you alive until this thing is complete. And then when it's done, then it's like, okay, God's going to call you home. And so Paul said, my whole career, everything I did and wrote was based in love. And it's like, sometimes it be like that when you're an artist. It's like when you're creating your art and you have all these people around and you're trying to create a certain narrative about things, it's like, yes, some things are going to, people can be, when you're passionate about things, you can be difficult to be around and work with. So I can totally understand that he was a complex person. And as someone who was a huge fan of Pee Wee Herman growing up, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this documentary. And I will forever love, like, one of my favorite looks from Sharon Needles on Drag Race is when she dressed up as Pee Wee Herman. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you guys excited for when this documentary comes out? Are you looking forward to seeing it when it comes out on HBO later this year? Whatever your thoughts are on this whole situation, let me know in the comments down below. Okay. So now we have, I was like, I struggle to say that damn peak skill word. He said, oh, Pee Wee's such a tragic man. Mm-hmm. And he said, he also said he felt bad about being labeled a pedophile. And that's kind of like, that was always the go-to, especially when it comes down to if you're someone who is gay, that's the first thing they want to do is say that you're a child diddler, that you're a pedophile and all this other stuff. And it's like, no, a lot of pedophiles happen to be straight. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't any gay PDF files, because there are, but the high percentage ain't us. Peak skills, the time the facts of life girls live. It ain't the good, the gang around, the young wrong, and the line, the line. Brian Freeman asked for an extension for his response because of the LA fires. He was denied, and it's allegedly coming out the judge is Blake Lively. Oh, so you're saying that their team Blake Lively is whatever happened to people being um fair and balanced in a lot of things, that people aren't going to be team this one and team that one. You need to be neutral if you're going to be in the legal ecosystem. Paul was good in Blow. His character cracked me up. Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that. Shout out to Johnny Depp. I think his character in Blood was probably the most like his real self. Not to be on topic, but I've always loved Sharon Needles, even if it's bold to admit one of my favorite queens on the show. No, I like Sharon Needles, even though she could be perceived as problematic in a lot of things she did in the past. Speaking of child grooming and things of that, and the racist stuff that she's been rumored to have said and vouched for by many a drag race girl. So, but I liked her drag. I liked her art, but I think we like Alaska more. So there's that. And that's the end of the show, y'all. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back on tomorrow. Brand new topics, brand new shenanigans, crazy same old mouth. And so, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being in the comments and all that other good stuff. Love you all for watching. And until next time, I was like, I can't see my hand. Green screen. Ciao, darlings.